Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Apologize, I'm a little late watching the end of the women's Olympics. This is a joke. Uh, Paris has a chance to tie the game up or take a lead. They take this 3-point shot from half court. You're like, what is wrong with you people? Get the ball in the paint, draw the foul, or make the shot. Why would you throw a long 3-pointer up? Just amazing how stupid these people are in most of these sports. Again, it's analytics. Well, you score more for a 3-pointer than a 2-point. Yeah, but the odds on getting it are so slim. That's like us playing 5-team teasers. Well, it's more than a 2-teamer. But the odds on winning it are very slim. U.S. by 3 with 30 seconds left. That's so stupid. What the hell kind of shot? They force up these long shots. What a bunch of morons. Anyway, how's everybody today? I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. I was up late, so I slept in late. But I don't care. Every day's a holiday for the Teaserking. So we'll look at baseball and football. One thing I quickly noticed about football, all the starters played except for the Lions. Josh Allen played, Mahomes played, Burrow played, I assume Bo Nix played, but I don't know when Denver plays. Penix played. J.J. McCarthy had a big day. I didn't know he could throw the ball more than 5 yards. He threw for a couple touchdowns. So they must listen to our show because the coaches all had, Mahomes. He was out there. Trevor Lawrence played. So all the starters played. Kelsey, I saw, had a catch. Pacheco was out there. That's what you need. You only have 3 weeks. And if you think that you won't get them injured in the preseason, you're going to get them all injured in game 1 and game 2. So you better get them in shape and get them through the routine. Jordan Love played, and even Fields played. Fields had a lucky play, a little screen to the running back for 40 yards. So it looks like he threw for 40 yards. But Fields should have played the whole first half. He needs a lot of work. You've got a new offensive coordinator. All these teams with new offensive coordinators should. Why did Daniels only play? Jalen Daniels, 2 for 3, hits a 60-yard pass, and that's it. What do you mean that's it? Why didn't he play the whole first quarter? You got to get these guys, especially the rookies who shouldn't be playing. None of the rookies should be playing. Maybe Daniels because you see it, and then Penix because they don't really have a quarterback. I love how everybody keeps talking up Kirk Cousins. You couldn't win with Jefferson. What are you going to do in Atlanta? So really stupid. So let's go through our baseball. Gold doesn't start till tonight. So we'll look at that. All right, Yankees 8, Texas nothing. We have the Yankees over 9 in game 1, so we lose. Oakland 1, Toronto nothing. And we didn't play it because Oakland doesn't hit, but we didn't know what Toronto does. The 49ers beat Detroit 3-1, but we didn't have pitchers, so we couldn't make that bet. Detroit's not hitting again, not scoring. Let's look at this Detroit lineup. So we want to have a laugh. This is actually a professional lineup, okay? This is major league lineup. Hard to believe. All right, we have in a major league lineup, your leadoff hitter, your outfielder, 125 batting average. Keith, the second baseman, 249. Malloy, batting third with a big 211 batting average. Ursula, the third baseman, hits 240. He's your big hitter. Madras is a new guy hitting 294. He's, I think, been up 15 times. Parker Meadows is hitting a whopping 198. Duke Dingler, the guy from Mad Money, is hitting 150. Javi Baez, why is he playing, is hitting a whopping 182. And Valady, the right fielder, is hitting 178. So your outfielders, 178, 198, and 125. Well, what is that? And Bobby will say, well, they just try to hit home runs. Badu doesn't hit home runs. Meadows doesn't hit home runs. And Valady doesn't hit. So look at my batting order. I got 125, a 211 third hitter, a 198, a 150, a 182, and a 178. And you wonder how they scored a run, right? What is that? What is that? I mean, how do you possibly play that, right? So now they're back. They did have like some 250 hitters. I don't know where they are. What is with this manager? If I'm the manager, none of these guys are on the field, including Happy Baez. He doesn't get off the bench because he can't hit. I don't care what I'm paying the guy. I'm not paying him. If you're stupid enough not to renegotiate his contract, you get what you got. All right. Houston 5, Boston 4. It's a push. We have Houston over 9, 2 units. San Diego 9, Miami 8. We have San Diego over 8.5, and they did it all by themselves, 9-8. Texas 9, the Yankees 4 in game 2. We do have the Yankees over 9 in game 2, 13. That's a winner. Washington and California 5-4. We have Washington over 9. That's a push. Kansas City 8, St. Louis 3. We didn't play this game, but we did like Kansas City. Although with Waka, you never know. Milwaukee 1, Cincinnati nothing. I didn't play the game. I didn't like it. This is why. Cleveland 2, Minnesota 1. Again, I didn't play that one. Oh, I did. I had Cleveland over 8.5. A 2-1 game, huh? Hard to figure that one. The Cubbies 3, the White Sox 1. I have the Cubbies over 9. I lose that one. Baltimore 7, Tampa 5. Originally, I played Baltimore under, but they switched pitchers, so then I just went to Baltimore. Baltimore wins 7-5. Atlanta 11, Colorado 8. I got Colorado over 10.5, and they put up a 19. Arizona 11, Philly 1. We have Philly over 8.5, which we always do. Now we're expecting Philly to score the runs, but we don't care. But it shows you Arizona's been lighting it up. Another winner. We got Pitt under 8. I went back and forth on this one. Kept with the under, and it was 4-1 the Dodgers because Pitt doesn't really score a lot anyway. So the under seemed to be the better play. And Seattle 4, the Mets nothing. That's another winner. I got the Mets under 7.5. So I go 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 8-3, 9-3 yesterday. Pretty good. Eric, how are you today? I'm fine, thank you. I was just watching the girls' Olympic basketball, and I have no idea why. I didn't see that Iowa girl out there. They didn't let her on the team. What's with all the 3-point shots? What the hell is that? That's just incredibly stupid. Game's tied. Fucking dunk the ball. You don't see any dunks. You don't see any in the lanes. Everything's outside. This is why I hate basketball. Magic Johnson would roll over and he'd be like, what the fuck? He must hate it because where's the penetrating guard and drives and dunks? Worthy and Kareem dunking the ball. Mikhail and Paris. What are we watching? Is this like a different sport? All right. So that was yesterday's baseball. Let's go to today's baseball. I just got a text. I bet you 10-1. I bet it's about the election. Oh, okay. My phone's being recharged. All right, 11:35 game. What's the 11:35? Who the fuck? You think people actually get up to watch the California-Washington game? Washington minus 155.9. Jake Kowanski 0-2 with a 14.14 ERA. Mackenzie Gore 7-9. So it's pretty obvious we're going over. I'm not even going to play it. I'd go over, but we got 10 minutes and nobody's going to have a chance to get the bet in. So let's just skip this bullshit 11:30. All right, 1:35. That's 2 hours. Here we go. Houston at Boston. Hunter Brown 9-7 with 3.98. James Paxton 9-3 with the 4.42. We push on the over yesterday of 9. I would have expected more scoring. Hunter Brown 3.442. We'll try over again with Houston over 10 this time. I'll just go 2 units. Again, there was one game I got screwed. It was like the 5.0 pitcher throws a shutout. And you're like, how does he have a 5.0 ERA if he's throwing shutouts? Very erratic pitching, and the managing's terrible. The managers are the worst. I mean, look at the Tigers. They started 6 players with under a 200 batting average. And then I love when they pinch hit. The guy's hitting 260. They pinch hit a 180 hitter because he's left-handed against the pitcher. Yeah, the odds on him getting a hit are like 0. Unbelievable. All right, Texas against the Yankees. Yankees 145-10. Andrew Heaney 4-11 with a 3.98 against Marcus Stroman 7-6. We gotta just go over Yankees. I mean, you can't trust their pitching. Ooh, this is a big one too. Over 10. Vegas again's fucking up. I'll just go 2 units. I can't bet. See, they're killing their own bets by making the line so much. You're not going to bet a lot on the game. So how does that help them? Oakland, Toronto. Toronto 155, 8.5. This was a 1-0 game for Oakland yesterday. JP Sears 9-8, 4.35. Chris Bassett 9-10 with the 3.95. I'm not touching this game. San Diego, Miami went way over yesterday. San Diego 210, 7.5. Dylan Cease, our star. He's the stud on San Diego. 11-8 with the 3.40. Max Myers too. And this is definitely going over. Over 7.5. We'll go 3 units. Miami's hitting the ball lately, and San Diego hits the ball. So 7.5's a joke. I don't care. Dylan Cease. He'll give up a few runs, but then the relief comes in. Baltimore and Tampa. Baltimore killed them yesterday. This was on Fox. What the fuck does Tampa Bay look like a softball team? They're in these dark black, gray tops and bottoms. Look like pajamas. And Baltimore was in their orange, and at least they had white pants. What was that? That was pathetic. Oh, my God. Albert Suarez for Baltimore, 5-4 with the 3.66. Jeffrey Springs, 0-1 with the 6.23. What I'm noticing is they'll start one pitcher, and then he'll pitch an inning, and then they go to this other pitcher who should have started, and he'll pitch 4 innings. Why doesn't the starter just go 4 innings? Oh, he can't start. Then what's he doing in Major League? How is he a pitcher if he can't start the game? maybe he's go play tennis, fella. I mean, that's ridiculous. I got to go over here. 8. Yeah, that's a joke. Baltimore get 8 by themselves. Tampa doesn't score much. We'll go 3 units on Baltimore over 8. Cincinnati, Milwaukee played a very low scoring game, 2-1 or 1-0. Nick Lodolo, 9-4, 3.93 for Cincy. Colin Ray, 10-3. This is a good under. We're going to go under. Milwaukee under 8, 3 units. Cleveland Mini played a very low scoring game, which I was surprised. See, with Cleveland, though, you got that bullpen, so it's hard to go over with Cleveland. They get you to the 6th, 7th inning, you're not going to score. Tanner Bibby, 9-4, 3.48. David Fiesta, 2-2 with the 5. We're going to go Cleveland. And we'll just go 2 units. See, not a lot of confidence. It's hard in baseball, 2-3 units. Atlanta, Colorado. We got Spencer Swallenbach for Atlanta, 4-5 with the 4.04. Kyle Freeland, 3-4 with the 5.65. We're going to Colorado over 10.5. We'll go 3 units on this one. This was like a 19-run game yesterday. It was like 11-8 or something. So look for more fireworks. You got shitty pitchers. Detroit and the Niners. Games in San Francisco. Montero, 2-5 with a 5.62. Real pig. Hayden Birdsong, 3-1. We're just going to go with San Fran for 3 units because we can't go over or under. The ERAs of 5.62 and 4.73 say over. Detroit's going to play what? 5 guys who can't hit 200. Ricky Green, their good hitter is out. Carpenter, their other good hitter is out. They don't have much. The outfield, nobody in the outfield can hit 200. It's pathetic. None of them are major leaguers. Their first baseman's been in the minor league for 3 months. I don't love Birdsong 4.73, but you're not gonna, what are you gonna do here? So Montero's terrible, 2-5 with a 5.62. Over under a 7.5. It's just too low. I can't go under. I can't go over with this lineup. So it's an under. It's a mix. 2 bad pitchers with a 5.62, 4.73, and then you got no hitting on Detroit. The Niners can hit, so let's just take the Niners to win. The Pirates and the Dodgers, Skane lost yesterday. And the Dodgers are minus 2.758. Bailey Falter, 5-7, 3.87. Tyler Glasgow, 9-6 with the 3.54. I think we go under again. Pitt under 8. We'll go 2 units. Philly, Arizona. Philly minus 128.5. Christopher Sanchez, 8-7 with the 3.27. Merrill Kelly, 2-0 with a 2.19. He's got to be a bullpen guy. Never heard of him. Oh, he's a new guy. So he's pitched 6-7, 6-5. Oh, well, he hasn't pitched since April. All right. So I'm going to ignore that, and we'll just go Philly over 8.5, and we'll go 3 units. And the Mets, Seattle, Luis Cervino for the Mets, 7-5, 4.06. Luis Castillo for the Seattles, 9-11, 3.48. Over under 7.5. Yeah, we'll go under. The JETS is under 7.5, and we'll go 2 units there. So pretty pathetic. A lot of 2-unit games because I don't really have confidence. I'm not getting good matchups. So we got Houston over 10, 2 units. The Yankees over 10, 2 units. San Diego over 7.5, 3 units. Baltimore over 8, 3 units. Milwaukee under 8, 3 units. Cleveland, 2 units. Colorado over 10, 3 units. The 49ers, 3 units. Pitt under 8, 2 units. Philly over 8.5, 3 units. The Mets Under 7.5, 2 units. Now, why do I bet so many over-unders is because I don't know who's going to win. The bad pitching, I have 3-0 guys going against you. I got a 5 going against the 4. I just know there'll be a lot of runs. There's not a lot of good aces going today. So really, you're just looking at it going, well, I'm not sure who's going to win because of the 6-inning, 7-inning garbage, and then the bad bullpen or the bad hitting. And I don't know. So you know what? I'm just gonna give me some runs. Like Philadelphia yesterday. I'm not sure. They put up 14, 15 runs. So because Detroit has 5 guys that don't hit 200. Philly's got 3 or 4 300 hitters. So therefore, well, I know they're going to hit. They got 300 hitters. The Tigers, I know, aren't going to hit because they got a bunch of hitters in the 150 to 180 range. But they lower it down to 7.5. So okay, fine. I'm not going to fuck with it. I'll just play the Niners. So that be baseball today. Let's go to preseason football. So I gave you a teaser yesterday. Oakland under 46, and it ended up where Minnesota kicks a field goal at the end of the game. They don't care about winning and losing, but they got the field goal with 2 seconds left. So it made it a 47. And they had it with the Niners under 44, which was way under. The Niners was a good play. I thought Oakland's defense would be better. J.J. McCarthy threw 2 touchdowns. So shocking, he didn't do that in Michigan in 2 years. So I don't know. And again, it was in the third quarter. So he's playing against 4th-string defensive backs who probably couldn't start in the Big Ten. So on one hand, you see the guy out there, and he looked pretty good. On the other hand, he didn't do it against Oakland's big defense, and Max Crosby wasn't out there. And so they wait till the third quarter to put him out when he goes against the 4th-team defense, and then he looks good. So this is what you also got to read in there, right? Who's he going against? Penix played against the 2nd team. He started. They're going to start with their second-team defense and then go bring in some 3rd stringers. And by the second half, they got the 4th stringers out there. I don't know when they make their cuts. After the first game, they'd cut down and get rid of all the crap. So I don't know when the cuts go now. But again, the Lions, the only team not to play their regulars. I love it. So Mahomes plays, Burrow plays, Herbert's injured. Okay. But most of Caleb played, and Jalen Hurts didn't play. No biggie. Today we got Denver at Indy. Indy minus 237.5. Probably an under. And Dallas, the Rams. Who knows? Dak sucks anyway, so you kind of want him to play and go under. Maybe the Rams and 9.5 would be a good one. Again, I don't bet preseason. I don't bet my money on 4 stringers. I bet to win, not bullshit. All right. So we've already covered New England, Zappy and everybody, New York and Detroit. We didn't learn any. Daniel Jones didn't play, and Goff didn't play. Miami and Atlanta, Penix had a pretty good game. I don't think played. Houston, Pitt. J.J. Stroud did play 2 passes, and Pitt didn't play Russell Wilson because I think he's banged up his knee. Philly, Baltimore, good game. And the JETSs against Washington, Jalen Daniels. Hartman had a good game. And Rodgers, of course, didn't play. All right. So I think let's go. So I think we talked about it yesterday. So let's go. Let's start with the Bears and Buffalo. The Bears score a lot in the fourth quarter, 33-6. Let's take a look. The Bears. All right. So we look at the quarterbacks. Caleb, 4 of 7, 95 yards. No touches, no interceptions. Andre Reed, I have no idea who this guy is. 2 of 4, 50 yards. Baggett, terrible. 5 of 8, 47 yards. And Brett Rippon, what is he doing on the roster? So all they have is really Caleb. This Baggett, I think, played last year and he sucked. You know, that's the Bears. So they're in big trouble with quarterbacks. Buffalo, Mitch Trubisky, what the fuck is he doing out there? Shane Boucher and Josh Allen was 2 and 3 for 22 yards. Nobody had a touchdown, 1 interception by Shane Boucher, who was from Texas. Trubisky, 10 of 18 for a whopping 82 yards, bunch of small passes. So you got to read what are the passes. Are they good or not? It was the small ones. Hard to get into the rushing and receiving. I couldn't. DeAndre Swift, 1 and 3. That's the running back. Buffalo. Frank Gore Jr. from Southern Miss. Now they got the guy from Georgia, 7 of 21. Trubisky, what's he doing? Josh Allen, of course, runs. Cook, the guy from, I think it's from Georgia, 4 for 2. Receiving, Swift caught a swing pass for 42 yards to make Caleb look good. I don't know. D Moore, is that DJ Moore? 2 for 27. Cole Kmet, the tight end. And Oduzzi, no, didn't play. Why not? He should be playing, right? Buffalo, Shakir, 3 for 28. Frank Gore Jr., 3 for 16. Andy Isabella, 1 for 15. Hamler, 1 of 9. He's from Penn State, who was drafted by Denver. Now he's at Buffalo. He's not very good. Kincaid, tight end from Utah, 1 for 7. All right, so Caleb, I don't know. He had one lucky pass for 40 yards, but really wasn't out. He should have played the whole first quarter. Minnesota and Oakland, this is the game that we lost our under on. I don't know what the fuck was going on here. All right, let's see. Oakland, Gardner Minshew. He's their starter, 6 of 12, 117 yards and 1 touchdown. See, he throws 6 passes for 117 yards, and these other guys throw 10 passes for 60 yards. So Minshew might be okay. I liked him. He's not superstar, but he's okay. Aiden O'Connell, what is he doing in the NFL? 7 of 9 for 76 yards. And A. Brown Jr., 1 of 3. What is he wasting? What are you wasting time with this guy? He got sacked 3 times. Minnesota, J.J. McCartney, 11 of 17, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the pick. So I saw some highlights. He threw some pretty good passes against the 4th string. This was in the third quarter. Hall, 7 of 16, 63 yards from BYU. He wasn't that good on the Jets. And Sam Darnold, 4 of 8 for 59 yards. Minnesota's got problems at quarterback. They don't have a starter. So it's going to be hard to bet him over. Now, we'll keep an eye on McCarthy. He didn't show anything at Michigan in 2 years. He got killed by Georgia. And last year, all he did was hand the ball off. So I don't see anything from this guy. Rushing, McCormick, 11 of 32. Zach White, 6 of 23. Madison, their starter from Boise, 3 for 15. Minnesota, Wang Wu, 5 for 52. Chandler, Gaskin. J.J. McCartney wants to run. He won't play quarterback. So, actually, I thought Madison is the starter for Minnesota, but now he's on Oakland. Minnesota's got no running. Receiving, Brock Bowers caught 2 for 25. And that's about it. Tucker, whoever he is, 2 for 73. Minnesota, T. Jackson, 4 for 100. See, it's all in the material. We don't see the name of Jefferson. So he's the show. Naylor 3 for 63. Sure, yeah. This is bullshit. This is fourth quarter stuff. This is against the fourth team. Green Bay, Cleveland. Green Bay 23-10. We got Sean Clifford from Penn State. I had to look it up. I knew the name was familiar. He sucked at Penn State. 10-19, 111 yards. Jordan Love, 2 of 2 for 63. And Pratt, I like Pratt from Tulane, 5 of 7 for 46 yards. Pratt's a good one. So 1 touchdown for Love, no interceptions, 1 sack for Clifford. Cleveland. Okay, so they went with Jameson Winston, really 4 or 5. Todd Huntley from Utah. There's one from UCLA. This is Utah, 6 of 9, 41 yards. And Thompson Robinson, 14 of 18. There you go. They all got sacked once, and no touchdowns, no interceptions. So Thompson Robinson's who you want to start, not Deshaun Watson. Why isn't Deshaun Watson playing, or is he still injured? Well, why would you not play a guy like Deshaun Watson? He's going to get injured. Well, what's going to happen after 5 minutes in the first game? Going to get injured. Get him to keep him. Let's see what he's got now. If he's any good, I don't think he's any good, but let's go. Rushing, Green Bay. E. Wilson, 13 for 67, a 23-yarder and a touchdown. Jay Howard, I have no idea, 44 yards. Andy Dillon, 4 of 2. Cleveland, nobody played. None of their running backs. I don't see Chubb or the other guy. Receiving, Green Bay, I don't know their names anymore because they're all new. DeBoss, 5 for 66. D. Wicks, 1 for 65 for a touchdown. The Hicks, never heard of any of these guys. Cleveland, A. Brown, I don't know, 2 for 26. Woods, 2 for 22. Kelly, 5 for 19, but just short ones. That's all I got from Cleveland. So Thompson Robinson, okay, that'll be good. Love played. So all these players are playing. Tampa Bay, Cincinnati. Tampa Bay 17, Cincy 14. And Burrow throws a touchdown pass, which makes everybody feel nice and good. We need Burrow. Burrow makes us a lot of money. All right. Kyle Trask, 12 of 20, 144 yards, and an interception and a sack. Wolford, what the fuck? 12 of 18, 131 yards, and 2 sacks. So why is Wolford taking Trask's reps? Trask should just play. You don't need Wolford. He ain't going to do anything. I mean, emergency backup, but he sucks. Cincinnati, interesting thing. Joe Burrow goes 5 of 7, 51 yards and a touch. Browning, who's from Washington, who was their backup, who started late in the season, 10 of 18 for a whopping 52 yards. So here's my point. Burrow, 5 of 7, 51 yards. Browning, 10 of 18 for 52 yards. So he completes double the passes for the same yards. Logan Woodside from Toledo, very good quarterback, 8 of 12, 149 yards and a touchdown. So Logan Woodside's much better than Browning. He's your backup. All right. Rushing, Tucker, 10 for 68. Williams, 10 for 29. Bucky Irving from Oregon, 6 of 28. Cincinnati, who's their running back going to be? Because he left, the Oklahoma guy. So we got C. Brown, 5 for 10, and that's it. They're not running a lot. Receiving, Tampa Bay, Miller 3 for 42. And I don't know any of these guys, so I'm not going to comment. In Cincinnati, do I see Chase? I do not see Chase. I see T. Higgins 2 for 19. Burton 3 for 82. And that's about it. Evans 2 for 8. No, he's on Tampa. Okay. Yeah, so it's hard without Chase. Burrow plays one series touchdown. He's back. Excited. All right. Tennessee 17, the Niners 13. This was my under. It wins easily, a 30-point game. Because you can't fuck with the defense, right? If San Francisco is playing their defense, you can't really fuck with it. All right. Joshua Dobbs. What the fuck is he doing here? 14 of 20. What are you wasting your time? And then Brendan Allen, I think from Arkansas, 7 of 13. Purdy, I don't know where he is. Dobbs, 14 of 20, 146 yards and an interception and a sack. Brendan Allen, 7 of 13 for 98 yards and 1 sack. You're looking at sacks because it tells you if they can read the defense, right? They should see the blitz coming and dump the ball. In other words, so they get sacked when they don't. Now, there's not a lot of blitzing right now. There should be by the third game. Tennessee, Mason Rudolph from the Steelers and Oklahoma State, 10 of 17, 126 yards. Willis, 5 of 7 for a whopping 38 yards. And Will Levis, 4 or 5 for 35. Will Levis should have been in the whole first quarter. That's a mistake. No touchdowns, no picks, 1 sack by Malik Willis. Rushing, San Francisco. Mason, 6 for 34. Schrader's my guy from Missouri. This guy's outstanding. He's as good as McCafferty. 5 of 6. 6 yards was his longest. He didn't get a chance. Matt Breida's back. 6 rushes for 0 yards. What's going on with that? Tennessee, Willis. He's your quarterback. You don't want him running. 4 for 42. Pollard, 4 for 35. Hassan Haskins from Michigan, 8 for 27. Good to see him playing. J.U. Chestnut from Michigan. What is it, all Michigan week? And that's about it. Receiving. Anybody that we know. Brito, 1 for 5. Schrader from Missouri, 1 for 3. Nobody else. Tennessee, Chestnut, 2 for 37. He was a tight end at Michigan. Kinsey, 2 for 20. Ridley, we know Ridley from Ella fucking Bama, 1 for 22. And that's it. Let's see. Kansas City, Jacksonville. And who starts the game? Mahomes, of course. Burrow plays, Mahomes plays. Who are you going to see in the Super Bowl, Burrow or Mahomes? Guaranteed. We'll see Bo Nix today. See, now the Lions are sitting there squirming, going, oh, shit, we didn't play our guys. KC, Buffalo, Cincinnati all played their guys, and Oakland played their guys. So watch the Lions. We'll play their guys next week out of panic going, oh, we fucked up. Oh, no, I am the worst coach in the league. Oh, they could see it. I'm disorganized. Kansas City, Mahomes, 3 for 4, 27 yards. That's it. No touchdowns. Carson Wentz, what's he doing here? 4 of 4 for 26 yards. Ian Book from Notre Dame. Are you serious? This guy's terrible. 8 of 9 for 46. And Ola Daku, I had to look that up going, who the fuck is this? He's from South Dakota State. Haven't we seen North Dakota State Wentz suck? These guys, you've really got to go to Division II for quarterback. You could have taken Hartman, right? 7 of 10, 85 yards. So Mahomes plays. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, 3 of 4 for 42 yards and a touchdown and a sack. Matt Jones, 9 of 11 for 98 yards. And CJ Beathard. Are you kidding me? 7 for 14. He sucks. KC. Oh, Pacheco, 2 rushes, 16 yards. That's about all you know. Carson Wentz, 1 for 0. Oh, Chocolatey Clear played 2 rushes for no yards. Jacksonville, who the fuck do they have? Etnine played from Clemson, 4 for 3 yards. Matt Jones, 2 for -2. There you go. Matt Jones playing to his strength. Receiving, holy shit. Pacheco, 1 for 9. Kelsey, 1 for 7. So KC plays their guys. They don't play long, but they get in the game and they get used to the speed and they get comfortable and they get their timing down. That's what you need to do. You don't sit there. You only got 3 preseasons and you got a bye before. If you don't play them in the 3 games and the bye, what are you going to do the first 3 weeks? Then they got to get their rhythm and timing down. So let's see. That's all I say. Pacheco, Kelsey, and Rice didn't play. So their starters played. Jacksonville, I don't know any of their guys. Duvernay from Louisville. Alan Trammell from the Tigers, 2 for 33. Etnine, 1 for 9. That's about it. Don't know. Let's see. Seattle and the San Diego. Seattle wins 16-3. Harbaugh's in big trouble. Well, he doesn't have Herbert. So they went to go to Sam Howell, 16. Oh no, Seattle goes to Howell, 16-27. So Geno Smith doesn't play. 130 yards at a touchdown and 2 sacks. PJ Walker from Temple, 4 of 10 for 61. I give him credit; he's 4 of 10, but he threw for 61 yards. Seattle, we'll see who receivers were. San Diego, East Stick, who sucks, 5 of 13, 31 yards. Mac Duggan, here's my TCU guy. So he's much better than Stick, 4 of 7, 41 yards. And El Perez, who the fuck knows, 5 of 12 for 61. I would not have played him. I would have given Stick and Duggan more time. Duggan needs it, right? He didn't play last year. He needs the snaps. He's good. He got to the title game. He beat Michigan scoring 50 points, so he can play. Why are you wasting El Perez? Oh, maybe he's good. No, he's not. He sucks. Unbelievable. All right. Seattle. Kenny McIntosh from Georgia wasn't drafted. 8 rushes, 40 yards. There you go. You get my Georgia guys out there. Kay Lewis, 10 for 33, and Charbonnet, 2 for 6. They picked up Lineski Shenault, who's a very good player from Jacksonville. He played at Colorado. He was All-American, 1 for 5. So I don't know why they picked him up. You've got Najimba, and you've got Metcalf, and you got Lockett. Why do you need Shenault unless Smith and Najimba just sucks? All right, San Diego. Patterson, I don't know, 7 for 38. Max Duggan. Oh, this is rushing. Max Duggan. Yeah, he's on San Diego. All right, so the quarterback ran twice for 15. Stick, Dotson, Spiller. So Jay Patterson, I don't know who he is. Receiving. Shenault, 2 for 31. I don't know. Smith and Jima, 2 for 13. Bobo, also from Georgia, 1 for 7. McIntosh, 2 for 1. San Diego, they got nobody. Jay Johnson, 1 for 36. Spiller, 3 for 18. Dotson, 2 for 11. I wonder if he's the guy from Baylor. And Hunter Hurst Helmsley, nothing. They don't have an offense, San Diego. Harbaugh ruined it. Why would you get rid of Keenan Allen for nothing? New Orleans and Arizona, 16-14. New Orleans gets the win. They were a live dog. Now, here's why you bet New Orleans in the preseason. All right, we're going to bet them the next 2 weeks because look at these quarterbacks. Jay Kaner, 9 of 13. Spencer Rattler, 9 of 17. Carr, 2 of 6. Heener goes 9 of 13. So here's the difference. Rattler 9 of 17 for 70 yards. Heener 9 of 13 for 107 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Rattler gets sacked once for 4 yards. Arizona, Clayton Tune, who sucks, 15 of 24, and Desmond Riddler, 4 of 9. Are you kidding me with these quarterbacks? You could have had Hartman, but no, you're going to go with Riddler and Tune. Tune actually threw a touchdown, got sacked twice. Riddler got sacked twice. New Orleans, Mims, 10 of 38. Rushing, Robinson, I don't know, 7 for 27. Kamara did play 2 for 3 yards. In Arizona, Carter, 7 for 41. DJ Dallas, 3 for 21. They're in big trouble. Receiving, we did see Olave, 1 for 10. Mims, 2 for 8. And we got Arizona. I don't know. T. Jones, 3 for 24. They need receivers anyway. Chisna, 5 for 63 was their big one. Let's go back to Washington. So that was New Orleans 6. So it's Jay Kadner. Rattler sucks, but Jay Kadner's playing. So you're betting Jay Kadner. Trask played for Tampa. The starters aren't going to give you much. Burrow gave you a touchdown early. Love gave you a touchdown early. Minnesota, I mean, Darnold sucks. Oakland, Minshew did okay. Josh Allen was 2. Caleb, you can't count on. Let's look at Washington and the JETSs. Now, why am I stopping here? Okay. Hartman, 8 of 13, 83 yards. Okay, so 8 for 83. Daniels, 2 of 3, 45 yards in the touchdown. I guess I thought he had a touchdown. What do you got Marcus Mariota out there for? Do you think he's good? Where has he ever been good? And Jeff Driscoll, 7 of 15. You got Daniels and Hartman. You got 2 superstars at quarterback. What are you fucking around with? So Driscoll takes 15 snaps away from Hartman and Daniel. Daniel should have gotten more, and Hartman should have gotten more, and not Driscoll. Driscoll, we already know, sucks. And with the Jets, it's all Aaron Rodgers. Tyrod Taylor, 1 of 2, Peasley, and Adrian Martinez. This guy sucks. Is from Nebraska, I think. Are you kidding me? 6 of 10. But when I went into him, he wasn't from Nebraska. I mean, it's strange. I thought this was the guy from Nebraska. So there must be another A. Martinez. Washington, Wiley, 8 rushes, 34 yards. Brooks Robinson Jr., 5 for 20. Eckler played 2 for 7 from San Diego. The Jets, B. Allen, 6 for 54. That's it. So I love when they draft the A. Martinez, 2 for 24 rushing. So what we want him to run. I love how he can run. Yeah, that until he gets hurt, and then you're fucked because you can't replace the quarterback. So today we got Denver, Indy. We got Bo Nix. Hopefully he gets the first quarter against, does Richardson play? Dallas, LA, Dak Prescott against Stafford. We know that's not going to happen. So we should see on LA Stenson Benson finally. Dallas, I don't know who their backup is. I guess Trey Lance. And then Indy, we'll find out who their backup is. So overall, that's Pro Football Exhibition, what we learned. So let's see. It's hard to bet them because you got J.J. McCarthy coming in the third quarter throwing 2 touchdowns, which you didn't do at Michigan. So, against the weak defense, we'll see. Had they played him, I saw McCarthy was pressured a lot. Well, against the forced thing. So the starter, if Crosby's out there, he's sacked 5 times. All right. So that's that. Baseball again. We got Houston over 10, Yankees over 10, San Diego over 7.5, Baltimore over 8, Milwaukee under 8, Cleveland, Colorado over 10, the 49ers, Pitt under 8, Philly over 8.5, and the Mets under 7.5. All about 2 or 3 units, nothing special today. All right. So about these jobs, I feel I'm getting what's called ghosted. I watched the video on it where they're purposely making you interview a lot to try to wear you down to be cheaper, I guess. It's a bunch of idiots. I mean, why do you hire people? Because you need the skill set, right? You need me to do finance or economics or whatever. Or if you hire me to pick the football games, that's what you need. And that's the point. So if you need a finance guy and you're interviewing, why would you dick around with 5, 6 interviews? Like this company, they have 4, and they had 4 different people interview me. And what I'm finding is it's called ghosting. What's ghosting? So ghosting is like in the NFL, I had to interview an African American coach for diversity. Even though I wasn't going to draft, I know I want Bill Belichick, but to get Bill Belichick, I gotta interview Anthony Pierce, and I got to introduce, I got to interview minorities, and I got to waste my time because I know I want Bill Belichick, but I can't just hire him. So take that to the workplace. The guy knows who he wants to hire, but he has to interview, 5, 10 guys to say, well, I interviewed all these other guys. So I did interview other people, and you're wasting your time and my time. You have no desire to hire me. You're just checking a box. I hired a white male, so I did interview him. So when you hire somebody else, you can say, yeah, I did interview a white male, and the team didn't like him. And so I'm starting to feel like, fuck it all. I'm just going to teach economics and football and wait for the goal to go up because I'm tired of, I can't figure out why I'm not getting a job. I always would get a job, right? If I had 3 interviews, I'd get probably 2 job offers. Guy with the masters and experience at GM and Ford and Mercedes, and you're not hiring me? Okay, you're playing game. That's not real. What are you doing? So that's really the problem is they're not serious. So they're just interviewing you to interview to say, well, we interviewed a bunch of people and I took my sister and that's what happened. So I think that's what happened at the first job. How does the VP and CFO like me that I don't get the job? Does that make any sense to anybody? Absolutely not. And then here at the same thing here at DTE, the boss likes me, but in a half hour the team doesn't like me, so you can blame the team. Wow, it wasn't a good fit with the team. Based on what? You knew what I was. It's a SQL thing. Oh, I don't have experience. So I didn't get it because of that, or because I'm a white male. What is the excuse here? And it's ridiculous. So, fuck it all. I don't know if I'll interview again. If I do, it's going to be half-hearted. I'm not going to stress out over it because I don't believe they're real anyway. So I think that's what's happening. Apple has like 17 rounds of interviews. One of it is because they're trying to get you cheaper. Okay, fine. Like I did. I'll go to, GM, and then if Mercedes has a job. I'll leave you if you're going to try to fuck around with me. But that's the thing. It's an auction. Here's my talent. I got a master's in finance and economics, and I'm good with computers, and this is how much I should make in the marketplace. And then you're trying to get me lower, fine, but then somebody else can come and say, well, I'll pay you more. And then you go from there. So be advised. They're doing a lot of ghosting. They're just fucking with you. They're not serious about hiring you. It's just to get the interview so they can mark the box. I interviewed whatever, a man, a woman, whatever color, whatever thing. That's just so they can say, yep, I interviewed. Just like the NFL, I interviewed a black head coach and Bill Belichick, and Belichick got the job. How surprising. So I don't get the point of forcing them to interview and wasting everybody's time when you're not interested in the person. However, if you like the black head coach, hire him. I don't care. I'm not saying that. You should hire the best person is what I'm saying. So anyway, so let's look at my YouTube thingies.
Picture this. You're sitting at home alone watching YouTube videos, wondering why you can't find the motivation to do the thing.
Plus years.
Okay, so there's one here. I'm showing you China's dying. Here's Canada's dying. These are all coming to us, to a theater near us. So again, here's another country who has massive inflation because they all print the money. And they don't understand massive inflation is printing the money. There's one I was watching where it was one of these Senate hearings. I don't know why what are they doing? These guys are lying to them. There was with the FBI director, and we're in the middle of a case. I can't answer that question, this question, that question, that question. Like, what the fuck is he doing there then? And why aren't you throwing him in jail for not answering the question? You're the Senate. There is no excuse. It's an ongoing investigation. I can't talk about it. What a bunch of bullshit that is. So if I ever go to the Senate, I'm going to say, well, I don't remember. I've watched so many of the people you let go who just can't remember. So why the hell should I answer? It's so stupid. Why aren't they in prison or lose their jobs? It's ridiculous. All right. So here's Canada is slowly dying. And here are the reasons. Well, we already know the reasons because of inflation and housing problems. Let's go from there. We already went through baseball and football in the beginning of the video. If you're looking for that, the baseball picks: Houston over 10, Yankees over 10, San Diego over 7.5, Baltimore over 8, Milwaukee under 8, Cleveland, Colorado over 10, the Niners, Pittsburgh under 8, Philly over 8, and the JETS under 7.5. Yesterday was a 7-3 day, really good day. All right, let's look at Canada dying.
All right, what's up, my brothers? In this video, we're going to be talking about Canada. I get emails and call-ins from time to time on my podcast. People asking about my opinion on Canada is a good place to move to, often from guys from less than great countries that they're living in at the time, second, third world countries. So I've got 8 points here that I want to talk about when it comes to Canada. I've spent the better part of 40 plus years here. I've lived here most of my life. I've spent some time in the United Kingdom and in America, and I've traveled a lot, obviously, so I have some contrast as I dispense this advice. So listen up. All right, so the first thing is the weather. Today is a Saturday. It's a weekend. It's been raining.
Okay, I thought this was going to be better than that. The weather, who gives a fuck? This one's pretty strange. Wall Street housing takeover. Why housing's going up, and a lot of it is because the Wall Street banks are buying the houses up. Now, in my notes, the worst investment for a bank is real estate because it's long-term, savings accounts are short-term, real estate is very risky. So I'm looking at this, and I'm wondering what the fuck are these banks doing?
How am I supposed to compete with a hedge fund out of Texas on buying a home? It makes you feel insane because it's like there's a conspiracy against me at this point.
If you're looking for a place to live right now, you face a radically different housing market than people did even just 15 years ago. Home prices have gone up, rents have gone up, evictions have increased, and a whole group of would-be home buyers has been priced out of homeownership, becoming permanent renters.
People want to own the American dream. They don't want to rent the American dream.
They've been replaced by an industry that treats our communities and neighborhoods like a day trader treats stocks, just something to buy and sell to maximize return.
It's been catastrophic.
Really just a few firms have been able to target and corner the market here. Their business model is built on exploitation and on having a very uneven playing field tilted in their favor.
So who exactly is behind this? We went to the cities at the center of this crisis to understand how single-family homes became big business.
Yo nunca he hablado con los dueños, solamente con las personas que trabajan.
I love these commercials in Spanish. Like, are we supposed to understand
Sandra
them?
de los Santos has rented this house in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, it's Ric Flair behind
She's
it
packing
then.
up. In a few weeks, she and her family have to leave.
Yo le dije a la compañía que hace 2 años la casa se venía llenando de moho, pero ellos nunca me habían hecho caso.
From the beginning, Sandra's had problems with the rental. Every time it rained, water flooded into the house. Then came the mold.
So she's got a bad contract. So what she says is, I paid for the fixing of the house, but the landlord never paid me back. Now they're evicting me. And okay, why aren't you buying the house? So, okay, in what should be a free market, you would, if nobody can afford to buy the house, there's a problem. So you can hold the house as long as you want, but you got to pay maintenance and taxes on it. It's not a really smart move by the banks to hold the houses. Now the renters are idiots for moving in there. If it's too expensive, don't move in there. If they're not going to fix it, don't move in there. Move somewhere else. Move where it's cheaper. Go to fucking Russia and live. I mean, you can't, if you know that going in, why would you move there? I mean, that's a bad part of the customer, but that's the point. You've got to, if you can afford $1,000 a month for rent and it's $1,500 all over, you got to find where it's $1,000. So you got to move. But I don't get is why would I? So I'm buying a house as an investment. This is what the banks are doing. Again, worst investment for a bank is real estate because it's long term. It's not something you're going to sell right away. Savings accounts are short term. Real estate is very risky, fluctuating interest rates and trade cycles. So let me get this. So they bought the house. Did they buy the house for cash, or are they doing a mortgage? The interest rates would affect them, the property taxes, and the maintenance of the house. You're just going to leave the house alone and not maintain the inside and the outside of the house. And again, it's the market. It's just like Toyota. The market's 24,000. You're selling it for 35. I'm not buying it. Same thing with a house. If you're looking at $1,500 rent, and they're 3,000. You're not. You just let it go. And I guess as long as people are stupid enough to pay more, then they get what they deserve. But you should not be, first of all, you should be able to buy a house. But the interest rates, because of inflation, are making it more. So you've got to be smart. You do what I do. I'm renting, reasonable price, a little bit high, 14 something. And you store your gold away. And then, as I tell Luke, we're going to buy a house with gold. And you'll fuck them all over because they'll all be owning houses. So they're owning houses, I assume, for an investment, right? There's real estate, there's gold and silver, stock market and money in the bank, CDs, annuities, or real estate trusts, which go broke. So they're doing the same thing in Canada. They're doing real estate is the investment. I don't know why. It's a stupid investment. You're going to lose money on it every time. Like our friend who bought a $700,000 house, instead of taking the 400 grand and buy gold, he bought it in the house. Now the house is probably worth nothing. And this is the problem. So banks to go into houses as an investment, and then they don't take care of the house. So the lady had leaks and she fixed it and she couldn't get her money back. We don't need to see the whole video, just the gist of it. So there's 25,000. She couldn't get her money out, and then they evicted her. And that's what you see. She's packing up. So the problem is, where's the market? In other words, in a free market, the bank wants to rent it at a really high price. And if there's no renters, they can't do that. Just like Fritos or Coca-Cola, right? You go to the grocery store, Fritos are $5 a bag. You say, fuck them. And you don't buy it, or you wait for it to go buy two, get one free. Then you buy 2 bags. You know, that's insane. But you see that when the prices are high, you don't buy it. So in this case, I wouldn't have moved into the house if I can't afford it. And if I got that for a landlord, I'd tell them to fuck off. I would buy a house so you don't have that, but I'm renting here. Am I going to get an eviction? Oh, well, I'm paying my rent. I don't think so. As long as I pay my rent, they're not going to evict me. Maybe for other things, if I have music really loud or my TV real loud, you know, something that breaks the contract. But otherwise, I'm not really worried about it. And I can go to another apartment and move in there if I have to. There's competition. That's the beauty of competition. So these people with the expensive houses are the banks. I don't know what these are the same idiots that did the real estate trust and the mortgage-backed securities and all that shit. It's the same idiots. I'm convinced people that run banks have no idea what they're doing. They don't understand Austrian economics is obvious to me. We'll do real estate trust. We'll do MBOs, mortgage-backed securities, and create this real estate trust. But all the mortgages are bad, and we'll just put billions and billions into bad mortgages. Don't you know the mortgages are bad? Don't you know the people aren't going to pay the mortgage because you laxed the rules and allowed people that can't afford mortgages to get mortgages? So what are you going to do with the house? So all these banks are about to collapse because if they're doing this, owning the mortgage, the housing values are going to drop very, very soon because of the inflation and the Chinese, Japanese, and Europeans getting out of the housing market. So they're the ones buying the houses to get their money out of yuan or yen or whatever. They're going to pull their money out. They're going to say, I need money. And they're going to sell the houses. And it's going to create this drop in houses. It's in a bubble. So the banks, how much are the banks going to lose, right? So just be patient to buy the house. As I tell Luke, just wait a little bit. The banks are going to fuck up and not see it coming. We see it coming, right? Market's going to collapse. The housing market's going to collapse. The stock market's going to collapse because all these foreigners have the money here are going to pull it and then watch it go. And they're all in bubbles. Stock market's a joke. And the housing market, who the fuck would rent at these places? No. If you don't want to take care of you know, if there's water in my ceiling, I call up the office, they fix it. I'm not fixing it. So if these people live in a house and they're renting and there's a water problem, you call up the mortgage and say, I'm not paying the rent until you fix it. I don't fix it on my own. But it's just it's a Ponzi scheme right now in the whole mortgage thing. It's all going to collapse. It should be free market. Canada's doing the same thing where they're all doing these mortgages where people are investing in houses, keeping the price really high. And you're like, oh, we can't afford it. Well, then don't pay. Just go find an apartment. And if you got to move. But don't pay. You can't afford the extras. Let it go. The guy renting it out, if he gets no renters, has to lower his price. And that's what they do. And that's the whole thing of the free market. If I can't, if I can't sell them a Homes card for $100, I got to lower my price. I don't leave it at 100 and not sell it. I look for what the selling price is, and that's what I sell it for. I don't well, I'll sell it for $1,000, and if nobody buys it, then I just hold it. What the fuck is that? So these people with the rent don't know what the fuck they're doing. All right, so that's what's happening in the housing market. Let's see. 6 major crises hitting China. Let's
per meal. Cook Unity cost $11.
take a look at this.
A large shopping mall has fewer than 10 visitors over the weekend. This is Shishu City in Fujian Province, one of China's top 5 clothing transnational procurement bases. On a street with 10 shops, 9 are closed. The shops in the shopping center have also ceased operations.
Okay, I think we've already seen that. Let me go later on.
Method 1. Salary cuts for civil servants. Last July, the Guangdong provincial government held a press conference to announce a collective 25% salary cut for civil servants. Before this, Zhejiang reduced salaries by 25%, Jiangsu by 15%, and Fujian by 20%. Following Guangdong's announcement, civil servants in Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, and other places, including police officers, also faced salary cuts of around 20% since early last year.
So basically, they're going broke, and they're trying to cut costs. It's going to be civil unrest and riots because nobody's making money. They got to eat. They got to get their money out of the bank, which they can't. Basically, China's in serious trouble, which is leading to their gold. You got 60,000 tons of gold, you're not in trouble. But it shows you the difference between the dollars of every country and the gold. See, all the dollars in every country are worthless, right? These are both worthless, right? Euro and US are worth nothing. They've lost 99% of their purchasing power, which means they don't have a value. So what used to spend $5 in this bottle is now $100, not because the price went up, because the dollar went down. And that's what you've got to understand. I'm going to show you this thing from Powell yesterday, Boog Powell. Let's see. All right, here it is. And they ask him about
if I walked into this office.
They ask him about inflation, and he doesn't even know what it is. So let's get to that part of it. So I don't mind this Kennedy guy, but I don't understand anything about the Senate. They ask him questions. I don't even know why. Let's see. Let's see. Well, let's start at the 7-minute mark.
And you were.
It is still strong.
Is a banana a metabolism booster or a killer? I just heard the truth from this guy and my mind was blown.
Yes, it is, although the labor market is still strong.
Our labor market is slowing, is it not?
Yes, but I'd say unemployment is still low by historical standards. But yes, it is. We've seen cooling. Yes.
And I was looking at the recent jobs numbers. I know you've glanced at them too. About 3/4 of the net new jobs that were created in June were in government, healthcare, and social assistance. What does that tell you?
So that's a concentration. You'd rather see broader job creation than that. Those 3 areas have in some reports, they've been, as it was this time, they've been the predominant creators of jobs. That tells you that job creation is becoming less broad in the economy and narrowing.
It tells you that government's creating those jobs, doesn't it?
Well, it's government. It's also in-person services. It's also some of it's government.
Manufacturing's been flat.
Yes, manufacturing's not creating a lot of new jobs these days.
Information technology shed jobs over the past 2 years, hasn't it?
I don't know.
Leisure and hospitality jobs have slowed to almost a trickle.
So that's a place where there was a desperate worker shortage, and they've done quite a bit of hiring, but they're catching up now.
I mean, three quarters of the jobs that are being created in our economy can be related directly or indirectly to our spending deficits, can't they?
Yes, because they're government jobs, which means they're bullshit jobs because the government takes our tax dollars. They don't create revenue. None of the jobs create revenue. So this is the problem. So if you go to work for the government, how are they paying you? Oh, taxes, because they don't make money. They're not GM selling cars. What he's trying to say is this is all bullshit. So Paul will go to job creation and he's like going, but that's bullshit because they're not, companies that are making money hiring workers are all laying off. IT, you got these idiots with me and all this shit. So it's really so looking at jobs, it's all bullshit because it's all government hiring, which is where they get the money, they just print it. So it's bullshit.
In this report, in this single report, I don't know that healthcare is really government spending. I mean, that's something people are.
Where do you think these hospitals get their money?
They may get it, but I mean, people are not. The spending on healthcare is not necessarily directly related to deficits. Is my point.
I would disagree with you. I mean, here's my point. We talk a lot about expectations in terms of inflation. How if we expect there to be inflation, we'll get inflation.
That's not true.
It seems to me that consumer expectations play a bigger role in the economy than we cede to them. Most of our economy in America is consumer driven, is it not?
Yes.
Unlike, say, China, which is manufacturing driven.
Used to be.
Very much so.
And I listened to you cite the statistics about the economy, but most Americans don't feel good about the economy, do they?
No, and we don't tell people how to feel about the economy.
I mean, isn't
sure
it
you do? You're running it.
If you ask them to define Bidenomics, they would say that's easy. We get to pay more to live worse.
I wouldn't touch
you don't want to answer that
a sentence with that word in it.
Yeah. I mean, we can pretty this up all I guess my point is, and I know you're going to do this anyway, but I'd be really careful with this economy. I mean, people just don't feel better off today.
Because they're not.
And one can marshal a persuasive argument that, well, you should, compared to Europe or compared to China, compared to Canada. But feelings are feelings. People don't feel good about
and
this
Japan.
economy. And it's primarily because of inflation. Let me use my final 30 seconds to ask you. I listened to my good friend, the chairman, give his opening statement. Do you think inflation was caused by corporate greed?
I hate to comment on something the chairman was speaking about.
Go ahead.
Well, so I will just say we see at the Fed, we see inflation as when there's an imbalance between supply and demand. And we use our tools to work on the demand side of that and bring it back into line with supply.
I got 2 seconds. So when are you going to lower interest rates?
I'm today not going to be sending any signals about the timing of any future actions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So he doesn't know what inflation is. Tying supply with demand. Well, what do we know? We know Say's law. We know what supply. That's the people who make the money, and I make the money, and then I demand these goods. So what the fuck's he talking about? Tying supply and demand together. Inflation is him printing the money, but he doesn't even understand that. So what does he say? Supply and demand. How is that inflation? So he thinks that there's more goods than people. If there's more money than there is people spending, then that's inflation. He thinks it's prices, but he doesn't even understand that. He goes to a weak supply demand, which doesn't make any sense anyway. So basically, I don't know. Is there, okay, I have one card. Is there demand for this card? Yes or no? So what the fuck's he talking about? How is that inflation? So if you want the card and you have the supply, you have the money, you buy it. So what is he talking about? If I have this mug from Bellagio, and so I have it, and then you want to, what? So I have a supply of 100. What is he saying? They're not selling. So what's he going to do about it? Or if the price is too high, I want to sell these for $25 because my costs went up because of your fucking inflation. Nobody's going to buy it. So what the fuck's he talking about? Supply and demand is not inflation. Inflation is printing the money, devalues the money. And that's what you've done. JP Morgan, the Fed, I don't know if they even know what it is. They clearly don't know what it is. Here's the chairman of the Federal Reserve and has no idea what inflation is. And he blurts out supply and demand, so what are you supposed to do about it? Oh, let's see. What does that mean? Supply and demand. Is there enough supply to meet demand? Or what is he saying? There's more supply than demand. There's 100 apples and 80 people want them. Or does he mean there's 100 apples and 120 people want it? So I think what he's saying is there's 100 apples and 100 and 200 people want them. So they're raising prices. Is this how he fucking figures inflation? He's got out of his fucking mind. Stop printing the money. It's very simple. You print the money, that's the inflation. You make the money worthless. Do you think this idiot understands that? That's why I wanted to show you Boog Powell himself trying to answer what inflation is. I like that Kennedy guy. He seems to be Austrian a little bit. He understands. And then why do they look at jobs? Why does Boog Powell here look at jobs as inflation? Well, if the jobs are there, then we're okay with inflation because the economy is good. What does one thing have to do with the other? You're printing the money. What does jobs have to do with printing the money? Oh, you're a Keynesian. Oh, you follow the Keynesian rule of communistic finance, which has never worked in the history of life. And this is what you're going with because the JP Morgans are running the show, want to keep printing money. So you come up with bullshit about the economy, which has nothing to do with inflation. So I guess if a lot of people are working, they're going to spend money. So again, they're looking at spending money that's already been heavily printed. So not a good thing. So I catch these once in a while. Let's see. Let's go to the next little section.
For what it's worth, I'm generally supportive of the actions.
This looks like an older one.
And I'm not going to ask you today to blame anybody. When Congress spends money, it stimulates the economy, does it not?
No.
Well, it would depend on whether that's funded by tax increases or not. But so
no.
If there's a spending that's not accompanied by taxes, would have a net at the margin stimulative effect.
Got nothing to do with taxes.
If you're not making $158,000 per year, but you'd like to,
Shut the
and
fuck
when
up.
Congress borrows money to spend even more, that stimulates the economy even more, does it not?
At the margin, yeah.
Okay.
At the margin. What does that mean?
If Congress reduced the rate of growth in its spending and reduced the rate of growth in its debt accumulation, it would make your job easier in reducing inflation, would it not?
I don't think fiscal policy right now is a big factor driving inflation at this moment, but it's absolutely essential.
It's the money printing, you idiot.
Slow the pace of growth, particularly for the areas of the budget.
All right, let's try to unpack this then. I'm not trying to trick you. You're raising interest rates. You're raising interest rates to slow the economy, are you not?
Yes, to cool the economy off.
Why?
And one of the ways you measure your success, other than fluctuation in gross domestic product, is the unemployment rate. Is it not?
Yes, one of the measures.
Okay. So in effect, I'm not being critical. When you're slowing the economy, you're trying to put people out of work. That's your job, is it not?
Not really. We're trying to restore price stability.
No, you're trying to raise
not wages.
You're trying to raise the unemployment rate.
There are a lot of.
That means I know you don't like the phrase, so let me strike it. You're trying.
All right, now let me explain. So what he's saying is we're trying to raise the interest rate so the economy cools. In other words, so the prices come down because interest rates cause higher prices, right? So all of a sudden you want to buy a car. Well, at 0%, you're paying $500 a month, but now it goes to 5%, you're paying $1,000 a month. So there's going to be less purchases because you can't afford it in houses, in cars. There'll be more layoffs. There'll be more unemployment because they don't need the people because they're not making the sales. And that's not what a economy is supposed to be. A market economy is supposed to be whatever Say's law says. How many people want a car? And you make the price that fits the market. So there's a Mercedes price, there's a Ferrari price, there's a Porsche price, and then there's a Toyota price. So you go to your little section and you buy it. But if it's too expensive, you don't buy it, you can't afford it. That's what I was talking about with the houses. So same thing with houses. If you can afford 200,000, it's 500,000, you don't buy it. If you need to rent, it's more supply. In other words, go build more houses or go build more apartments or condos in the cheaper segment. That's what a smart businessman would do. Instead of these banks buying these houses very expensively and holding them as investments, the builders should be making, okay, let me make $200,000 houses because there's a huge demand for it. That's what builders should be doing now. And you have all these people now, can they afford it and can they pay is the question, or these people with terrible credit? Hey, Bobby Bo. Yeah, getting closer. Let me finish this thought. So you have people with the way the market works is well, look at Bobby. The Pirates needed an outfielder. They signed Bobby for the outfield. And he takes the fair market value of what his contract is. He's going to get $1 million a year, $5 million, $10 million, whatever the market says is what he does. And that's how it should be. And the same thing with that. Hey, Panda, what's going on? Well, welcome to the class, Panda. I don't think I've seen you here before. What's going on over here then? Nothing. What do you want to talk? Football, baseball? We're talking economics right now. So that's your big thing. Is the way the free market should work is you have the market dictating the price of, let's say, a Toyota, and it's $25,000. Toyota tries to push up to 30. Now Powell is sitting there going, well, I'm going to raise interest rates to cool the economy. Well, fuck, you don't know what you're doing. That does nothing. Raising interest rates to cool the economy, it's the fucking inflation you're printing that's causing the interest rates to go up in the first place. This guy's so stupid. This is a Keynesian. This is a communist who's running the Federal Reserve. Is so stupid he doesn't understand. Stop printing the fucking money. That's the problem. It's got nothing to do. You can raise interest rates to cool the economy. You're not supposed to cool the economy. You're supposed to let the economy adjust. And if Toyota can't sell a car for 35 because everybody wants to pay 25, Toyota needs to lower their price without raising interest rates to sell their product, because that's why they're in business, to sell cars, and there's buyers, and they got to meet in the middle. So this guy's a fucking idiot, this Boog Powell guy. Good to meet you. Good to meet you too, Panda. No, I do not like Bitcoin because it's really not real. I compare Bitcoin to this, and I'd much rather have my Mahomes card than a Bitcoin, because I don't really have anything in Bitcoin. It's not money. It's not gold. It's a baseball card, Bitcoin, without having the card. So Bitcoin, the reason it's not money is it's not accepted. So I can't go to Kroger's and use Bitcoin to spend it. That's the first thing. So I am into this gold and silver as real money, that nobody can fuck with me, that I can't be inflated, which inflation in our world is printing. You can't print it. If the more supply, the less it's worth. So since you can't do that, Bitcoin 21 million is not limited. This is limited 50, right? A 50 count is limited. A Bitcoin of 21 million, and you can't tell me how it gets valued. You can't tell me it's supply and demand. So no, I'm not into it, because I would much rather own gold and silver. It's much more limited. It's much more in demand, and it's real money. So what I teach is gold and silver, because this is printed this is what it's worth now. It's worth 1 cent, this dollar. So I got to get rid of this dollar. If I'm in gold and silver, they can't print it. Now, we understand it's controlled by JP Morgan with the derivatives, keeping the price at certain spots. So I understand that. And I understand brics coming out in October to break it. And that's where I'm at. Brics will be out October, and gold will go much higher because of demand. Why would Bitcoin go up? I have no idea. It's not real to me. Like I said, it's the same as a baseball card. It's not a commodity. It's not anything. You can't hold it in your hand. If I can't hold this in my hand, Bitcoin, what am I going to do? I got this in my hand. I would prefer gold and silver. It's going to go to the moon. Bitcoin's already gone to the moon. It's already gone to 70. Now it's back down to the 50s. Where's it going to go? And when the dollar goes out, so this is going to be worthless. My gold and silver go through the roof. Your Bitcoin is priced in dollars, goes to what? So that's my problem with Bitcoin. That's a nice looking silver coin, Professor. Which country design was that one? This is a U.S. This is the Delaware depository using the Buffalo design. It's 999. So I just bought it the other day. By the way, where are the buffaloes from? Well, I mean, these are U.S., these are Delaware, but you can get the Philharmonics or the Maple Leafs. I got some of each. It doesn't matter. You're buying an ounce of silver. And don't buy junk silver, please. Junk silver is ridiculous. You don't even know how much it is. And I got a 1960 quarter or a 1920 Mercury dime. Whip the fucking do. What is that going to do for you? Well, I'll barter at the grocery store. Well, you can barter this at the grocery store, but guess what? We don't know how much. You don't want to. Let me put it this way. So let's say you go buy a milk. You need a milk, which I don't recommend. Milk's not good for you. You buy the milk and it's $2. It's $2. So, but that's priced in this. I did this with Luke the other day. It's priced in this money. Well, if we're going to get rid of this money now, what is the price of milk in this money? Well, it ain't $2. It's about 5 cents. So why do I want to give up silver for that? So as long as I can still use my debit card or credit card, I would never use the silver. Like when I go to my barbecue restaurant, I could get the ribs for $30 and pay with silver. But why would I? Silver is going to go to $2,000 an ounce, and you're pricing it in dollars, which is heavily inflated. So That's the point with it. So why do that? Bobby Bow got some of those buffaloes. Junk silver is regular. Junk silver is like mercury dimes or any coins before 1964. 1964, there was the Kennedy halves and some quarters and stuff that had silver in it. So, like Rome, we kind of get into the Roman Empire. What did Rome do? They took all the gold and silver out of their coins. What did we do? We took all our silver out of coins. So a quarter in 1960 is, I don't know if it's a quarter ounce of silver or not. I don't know how much silver's in the quarter, but I know it's silver. After 1964, they took all the silver out of the quarter, and then it's copper or whatever, nickel, but it's not silver. So that's what junk silver is, where this is actually 1 ounce of Troy 999, right? That's what this is. 1 Troy ounce, 999. So I don't care what year it is or what it is. I know it's 1 ounce, 999 silver, and I know silver's going to 2,000 an ounce. If I paid $30 and it'll be worth 2,000. I'm a happy camper. I remember standing in line, Bobby Bow. I remember standing in line at the coin store a while back, and this one lady was stacking up on those dimes, nickels, and quarters. See, these people don't understand it. So they think, oh, I'm going to eat and barter, I'm going to need silver. And so they're buying all this called junk silver, which is these older mercury dimes and quarters and half dollars. Figuring, well, I'll go buy eggs with a mercury dime or a quarter at these prices. Well, I'll still use this, and then when the dollar goes out, everything will get priced in this. So now my eggs convert to 10 cents or a tenth of an ounce of silver, like it was in the Roman. How do you think the Roman Empire worked? Right? So you walk through the Appian Way and you bought food. Well, it was with silver and it was just priced in silver. So there's no barter. Barter is doing this. Barter, well, no, we'll do this. Barter is going in to get new tires and giving them the Mahomes card. The Mahomes card's worth $800. The tires are $800. I'll give you the Mahomes card for the tire. That's barter. So, otherwise, what are you doing? So that's what it is. Let's see. Football. We went through the football yesterday. So basically, to sum it, you had Caleb play, you had Mahomes, Kelsey, and Pacheco all play. You had Joe Burrow throw a touchdown pass. You had Penix play. You had J.J. McCarthy throw 2 touchdowns, which he didn't do at Michigan in 2 years. You had Drake May 2 for 2 for 2 yards. Today, Bo Nix plays. The 49ers stayed under. We lost the Minnesota under on a last-second field goal. Where Minnesota won 24-23, we're under 46 and went 47. That was shocking that, well, Oakland didn't play any of their players. And then J.J. McCarthy played against the 4th string. They didn't play until the 3rd quarter when the defenses would be worse. Jake Hader played well for New Orleans. Let's see what else. Cleveland, Thompson Robinson played a lot. Deshaun Watson didn't play. JJ Stroud play was 2 for 2 or something. So Mahomes and Burrow play and Kelsey plays, and the Lions are going, oh, fuck, we got to play our starters. Oh, my God. That's the Lions. They're always last to learn, right? Instead of taking the bull by the horns, we don't want to play our star, get anybody hurt, and then everybody else is playing their players. You watch, the Lions will follow suit because they're good at copying. Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson has a knee injury, so Fields played, but not as much as he should have. These guys got to get used to the offense. These guys should be playing the whole first half. Otherwise, it's stupid. Then you see these stupid, 4th-string quarterbacks come in and go 10 of 20, and you're wasting reps that your star players need, and you're giving them to some 4th guy who's never going to make the team anyway. Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to see if Tim Boyle's any good. He sucked on the Lions, but let's see if he's any good here. Yeah, he ain't any good. The Niners didn't play Purdy. Oakland, Brock Bowers caught 2 balls. Minshew played. San Diego's in big fucking trouble. Herbert's hurt, but should be ready for the beginning. They don't have any receivers. They do have Kelly, the running back, and then they're just going to be that's going to be Michigan with run the ball and play defense. What else? Miami, Tagovailoa didn't play. So, like I say, Penix looked pretty good. Why Cousins didn't play? That's a huge error. These guys need to get associated with the team. Well, you know, Bobby, it's like taking batting practice, right? You take it and then you're ready for the game. And it's like these guys aren't taking batting practice and you just want them to go in. Or imagine baseball preseason and you're not playing any of the games, and then here comes the regular season. And okay, Bobby, start hitting. Well, you can't. That's the point. You need to get your timing down and get used to the real game. And to not play Kirk Cousins is a joke unless his Achilles is hurting. I think his Achilles is hurting more than they're letting on. That's why Penix threw 15 passes, because he's trying to get you got to get him ready, because you're not going to have the guy. Let's see. So basically, we'll watch today. Bo Nix plays against Indy. I don't know if Richardson's going to play. He's still has the shoulder issue, and I can't remember the other game. But again, preseason, we don't bet him. I think New Orleans is good to bet, because you do have Hainer, and then you have Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler. So that's not bad. You know, you got at least one good quarterback, and Hainer should be starting. You had Kyle Trask start for Tampa. He had a pretty good game. He needs more. He needs to play a half. Where's Baker? Oh, Baker doesn't need practice anymore. Oh, he's that good. He lost to the Lions. He's that good. The Rams and Dallas play today. So you won't see Prescott, because his foot was in a boot, unless it's all better in a month. I don't think you'll see Micah Parsons, but he doesn't need to play. The Rams, we'll see Stenson Benson finally, and whoever else their backup is, the other backup. But looking forward to Stenson. And then a lot of Georgia players I'm seeing. Brock Bowers, there was a Kenny McIntosh was running on one team. He had 7 carries for 80 yards or something like that. Just grab the Georgia players. That's what you want. Anyway, we got 2 weeks. The 24th is we got LSU. We got Georgia Tech and Florida State. And Oogly Boogly is on Florida State. I mean, they're an under team. They're not going to score. Now, how long does he play? I think the coach knows he sucks. And so I would imagine that they're getting the new quarterback ready. So he's getting his reps. And Oogly Boogly will throw 3-4 interceptions. And then they'll get the freshman out there, or whoever the other quarterback is, get him ready. I'm sure he's a good one. Florida State recruits good. They'll have a monster defense. Georgia Tech will be very good. And then you got SMU, Nevada as the other game. SMU should have a real good team this year. They were good last year. They had a good defense and a good offense. Quarterback's back. I expect them to be strong. Nevada, we'll have to wait and see, but they were not a very good team last year, so we will see. Yeah, Mahomes played. He was 2 for 3. Hit Kelsey with the pass. Pacheco played. I don't know on the defensive side, but Mahomes, Pacheco, and Kelsey. Kelsey 1 for 7. So, the first drive was probably a hit to Kelsey, ran Pacheco, boom, boom, boom. But Mahomes always plays in the preseason. Joe Burrow played, threw a touchdown. He played the series, threw the touchdown. He was done. Nice touchdown, 40 yards. So these are why these teams are in the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers did not play for the JETSs. I don't know if he needs to play. All his receivers are from Green Bay anyway. So Brees Hall's the running back. So I kind of get that you don't need. He's already used to the receivers. He's kind of like the outlier, right? He's used to his players. He's used to the offensive coordinator, so he's got it all down. So happy to see Burrow play. Lamar didn't play. Lamar doesn't need practice. Jalen Hurts didn't play, which I think after you see Lamar and Burrow play and all these guys play, Penix, I think next week you're going to see more of the starters taking, because they're all worried now because KC's got a huge advantage over, say, Philadelphia, because Mahomes played, took the snap, got live action, and Jalen Hurts didn't. And Lamar didn't. And these guys need it, right? So even like Penix is ready. Why wasn't Cousins? Cousins hasn't played for Atlanta. He could barely play with Jefferson. He's gonna go. Now Burrow played, but Chase didn't. But okay, that's fine. He's Chase. He doesn't need much. But that's what you got. We don't really look at the scores. San Francisco under was good, but like I said, I had Oakland under 46. It was 47. It was a fluke. McCarthy against the fourth string defense looked good. Let's see how he is. If Crosby's out there, he gets sacked all the time, and he doesn't do shit. So he got lucky. There wasn't a lot of pressure on him. That's why he got out there against the fourth team, right? Make sure you look at that. Again, Comex about to blow up with the gold because they're 12 tons short. So they're borrowing 12 tons to pay the delivery to China of the 12 tons of gold off of Comex. I didn't think they were able to keep doing derivatives if Comex, if you don't have the gold, you can't play. So Mark McGuire talked about the stair steps going higher, and the brics will be going. The brics gold-backed currency will be October 22nd, and they'll announce it in Kazan, Russia, at the BRICS conference is almost for sure. He says it repeatedly again. So look for BRICS to finally. China's going broke, but they got 60,000 tons of gold. So how broke can you be if you got gold? You're fine. And so they want a higher price. The U.S. too stupid to buy gold, and anything in your Fort Knox is China's gold. So forget that. All these countries want their gold back, so they don't trust the U.S., and I don't blame them. I was watching somebody say that the petrodollar, was still going on, and it's technically it is because other country, you can still use U.S. dollars in other countries. China buys China buys from them using yuan. So in effect, it's over because you had to use the U.S. dollar. Now you don't have to use the U.S. dollar. Now you can still use it, but nobody wants the dollar. 40 countries are joining BRICS in October. They'll all go gold-backed currency. I think it's like 40% gold back, which is fine. And look for that gold price to jump. Mark says that he's looking at a $3,000 to $3,400 gold price. Let me show you Egon's. You'll like Egon's. This is for you, Bobby Bo. So it's a short by Egon.
Revalue gold based on inflation, or even on John Williams' shadow statistics inflation, gold should be $20,000 or so. And the same with silver, it should be much, much higher. And so it's still far from catching up with purchasing power or the loss of purchasing power, the gold price and silver. I think we're going to get into an era now. I talked about gold being revalued in a substantial way, but also silver will obviously going to start dropping fast. When the move starts, often silver moves 2-3 times as fast as gold. But as we tell our clients, it's not for widows and orphans because it's very volatile. And if you buy it high and you see a
now once Comex goes out,
silver is more for speculators, but even for investors, silver is now an interesting investment because it's obviously going to move over over $50 and probably a lot higher than that. I mean, I wrote an article many, many years ago saying that if gold reaches 10,000, which is in paper money, which is very likely, gold silver ratio coming down to, let's say, 15 or something, silver could easily be in the many hundreds, for example.
I'm going to show you a way to potentially make money.
There you go, Bobby. That should make you feel better. I still see gold at 20,000, silver at least 2. Because gold, the demand for gold is that's why I use the Titanic. It'll be a flood into gold and there won't be any. So it's like Luke's brother sells these tickets, right? To the Ohio State Oregon game, he's going to make a lot of money. But it's the frenzy of I need a ticket to that game and I'll pay anything. So the going to the game is more than the cost of the game. So it's not justified. So it's like there's only so many tickets. There's 60,000 tickets at Oregon, let's say. So if he has 60,000 as the demand, I want 50-yard line. Okay, that's $2,000. Okay, somebody else wants, and then it's the demand forces the price up because there's low supply, and all of a sudden it's 5,000 for Oregon Ohio State ticket, and that's what's going to happen to gold. You want to go to the game so badly that you'll pay anything to go sit at the 50 or 40. Your preference might take you to the 10-yard line because it's too pricey, but you've got to be at the game. You've got to own gold. You've got to own silver because as this goes out, the frenzy to get into this will push the price way up. It won't be volatile. The volatility is from JP Morgan price fixing it, not from people buying and selling. Nobody is selling this. This is purely the price fixing causing the volatility. So don't worry about that. You know, it's keep buying it at 30 and you'll be selling it at 2,000, let's say 1,000, waiting for it to go to 2,000. And that's how it's going to work. Bobby Bo, if you've been doing a lot of study lately, professor in economics and football, well, look at my titles every day. There you go, boy. Egon. What's up with the alligator? Alligator, I don't like. Alligator, he's changed. I'm losing it with the alligator. I called him out here. He keeps saying it's not the gold going up, it's the dollar going down. Egon gets it. Egon's now saying, yeah, it is. It's both a protector, but it will make money because, you know, it's sort of like Rolex, right? I did a show on Rolex and there's $60,000, $100,000 Rolex. I'm going, well, the reason it's expensive is because it's limited and highly demanded. Well, welcome everyone to another. That's what gold is. It's limited and highly demanded. So the difference is Rolex is 60,000 for a nice watch. Gold is still at 2,400, but should be 60,000. Gold should be as much as a Rolex. There's much more demand. It's actual money. You know, if you're not into watches, you're probably not buying a Rolex. But everybody's into gold because you need it. So as this goes out, especially here, this is our key. When it goes out in Europe, when this goes to zero and it's 99% gone, just like the dollar, just like the Japanese yen and the Chinese yuan. I keep showing you these Chinese videos. They're fucked. The banks are fucked. The real estate's fucked. The stock market's fucked. They're not paying the military, the police. People, there's nobody open for business. There's nobody can afford anything. But they're sitting on all the gold, and that's what it is. But as you run out, what do? Oh, fuck, this is worth nothing. So especially the Germans who have lived it before go, this is worthless. What do you think the Germans are doing? They're buying this and gold hand over fist. In Germany, you have to pay a tax to buy this, which is ridiculous. But that's what you need in Germany. So you got to be careful what country you try to sell it in, where the taxes are. Maybe Switzerland might be our best choice, or I'll go to the coin store. But believe me, in Germany, they're buying as much of this as they can. If anybody knows about hyperinflation, it's the Germans. Between that and Hitler made them broke and stole all the gold from everybody. That's how it came to New York in America, was all these countries are freaking out. France, Brussels are all, no, we got to go safe haven. Like the U.S. was not a safe haven. Hitler was after us. He had submarines outside of New York ready to send some messages, but we got them before. Real D, what did I miss in class? Well, I started with baseball picks. Then I went into the football, yesterday's games, who played, who didn't, who looked good. And then we're looking at Powell doesn't know what inflation is. They're grilling him, and he goes, well, it's supply and demand. No, Powell, it's you printing the fucking money is what inflation is. He doesn't even understand it, or he can't say it. He's a Keynesian, which means he's a communist running our money. Why the fuck is this happening? Yes, Alligator sold us out and turned into Madoff. Alligator, I watched the last couple, 2-3 things, and I didn't like it. So I won't watch him anymore. Mark McGuire's getting a little better. Egon's our friend, but I wouldn't listen to that other guy. His partner's an idiot. This Matt Pfeifenberg. So if I watch this, so Matt, I fast forward, and Egon we watch. But Egon says the same thing. It's wealth preservation. In other words, as this goes to zero, you can't print this, right? So it's really just a simple, if you print too much, it has no value. And guess what? You can't print this, so it can't lose its value. And because it's been held down by JP Morgan and Comex with these stupid fucking derivatives, because of that, this is so undervalued. It's a joke. And when China and Russia do the BRICS summit in October 22nd, and they go to a gold-backed currency, we'll share Mark McGuire with you just so we can reaffirm it. But because you can't...
On a single ounce of 12.2 tons of comex gold obligations
We'll watch a little Mark.
Undelivered. And that's telegraphing short covering stress, and a bottom is either in or close. We'll also look at what it tells us when the cartel drags their feet in delivering their comex warrants. But before we drill down into the current action, let's keep in mind that in the very short term, we've been really entering thinner summer trading conditions. But liquidity providers assess that given the strong central bank demand alongside swelling central bank gold repatriation requests, the month of August is expected to end up being strong for gold, ahead of gold season really commencing in September. Now, given the unprecedented reduction in Indian gold taxes just as we enter the auspicious gold buying festivals commencing on the 26th of September through to the 2nd of November, and that's going to compete with the BRICS currency launch at the Kazan summit between the 22nd and the 24th of October. Wholesalers are gearing up for very strong end-of-year physical demand.
So there you go. You got the Indians buying gold in September for the weddings and holidays, and the gold back in Kazan, October 26th. We're going to a gold back currency. There you go. He says it again, and he says it a few more times in here. So this is what we're expecting. Alligators like, well, I don't know when it'll happen. It might happen now or in 5 years. And here's Mark McGuire giving you the fucking date. So I don't know what's going on with the Alligator. I can't listen to him anymore. He's showing his hand, or somebody told him you got to be Keynesian. I don't know what it is. I lit him up. He did a thing, and I said, it's not the dollar going down. He says, well, it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down. And I keep saying, bullshit. It's the demand for gold going up is raising the prices. The dollar can't go down anymore. That's what Egon was saying. If you looked at the purchasing power of the dollar, how it's gone down so much, gold should be 10,000 an ounce. Because because the dollar is going down, but gold doesn't go up. Well, you think the dollar, you think the 24.30s because of the dollar going down? No, that's all derivatives. And alligator just totally over his head. He doesn't understand that me and you, Bobby, could go buy 10,000 tons of gold tomorrow and it wouldn't affect the price at all. Or we could sell 10,000 tons. It wouldn't affect the price because it's not the market price. It's the government, which is the bank's price. The banks are fixing the price. JP Morgan says, this is what I want gold at, and they run the derivatives. Not the free market. The free market handles the Rolex at 60,000, the Montana rookie at 110, the Mahomes card at what, $2,000 there. That's the market. But gold is not free market. Gold is price fixed by the communist JP Morgan, who wants monopolies, who wants to fix the price of gold, not let the market run it. And so the price should be 10 to 15,000, which is why I get it. In the real free market, that's what gold price is. That's why we buy as much as we can, because we know it's really worth much, much more, which brics will come out with. And I don't know what brics will do if it comes out at $5,000, if it comes out at $10,000, but it'll be much higher than 2,400. I guarantee that. Now, Mark's calling for 3,000, but again, I don't think that's a brics thing. Maybe they start at 3 and then it goes to 10 or 20. I don't know, but he's calling for a 3,000. And then silver. I mean, silver's got to be 1,000 an ounce, but yeah, everybody. Oh, it won't go past 50 or 100 or whatever. But we know it's worth a lot more than $30 because it's limited and it's money. So don't ever forget that. So yeah, just keep buying it. And I mean, that's why I bought this. I bought a tenth of an ounce of gold for $277, and I bought 5 of these because that's all I wanted to spend. It was about $400, and these were $29.50 an ounce, and it's like, and these were nice. These were like brand new. Where some of them you get like black on the ridges, and I wonder if I go to sell them, will I get, because they're charging me the same, will I be able to get the full value, which I'm not sure. So anyway, Real D, let me go through the baseball. I know you like that. So here's my baseball picks today. Houston over 10, the Yankees over 10, San Diego over 7.5, Baltimore over 8, Milwaukee under 8, Cleveland, Colorado over 10, the 49ers, Pittsburgh under 8, Philadelphia over 8.5, and the Mets under 7.5, playing Seattle. Seattle and Detroit have like 5 hitters that aren't hitting 200 on their team. It's like, what the fuck? So I played that teaser yesterday. Oakland under 46 was a 47, and Frisco under 44 was a 30. So I went 1-1, but I didn't bet it. I don't bet preseason. Barely advise. I can say like, okay, we'll take New Orleans because Hainer and Rattler, they got good quarterbacks. They should be competitive. They did win. The Rams, we'll see with Stenson Bennett today. That should be good. Dallas, who the fuck is there? Trey Lance, really? Guy sucks. So we'll see. And then there's only 3 games. So I think next week you start seeing a lot more action from Mahomes and Burrow and that. And then week 3, I don't know what they're doing, but then there's a bye. So we'll see. Week 1, we got to be very careful. And then week 2, we'll start getting a little more flexibility in our picks. Again, there'll be classes, pro class, $25, college, $25, where we'll walk through all the games and I'll say, here's who I'm picking. I'm not picking this game. I'm picking this. Here's my lock. I'll go through everything you would get if you bought on the site. Now you can pay on the site 75 pro, 75 college, 100 both for 1 week. A month is different. In a year, it's 600 for the full year of pro, college, and $750 for every pick through the Super Bowl. So you can still do that. But, here I won't be giving picks out. I'll be telling you, like now, I'll tell you what we saw yesterday and injuries and stuff like that, but I won't actually say, here's a pick like I did yesterday with the Niners under and Oakland under. So that's a little bit of a change, but I'll still have the regular class. I just won't give picks out in the class. That you'll have to sign up for. let's see. So China, millions want to recall Xi Jinping, the dictator of China, because the economy is collapsing. The whole government, the whole country's collapsing because of Evergrande and everything else. So they gotta. That's why BRICS has to come out with the gold-backed currency, because China's got all the gold, so they're fine. They know they're fine. But other people are starving and they can't get jobs because the yuan is gone. That's been heavily inflated. So keep that in mind. Let's see what else. So buy your gold and silver now. It's going to go through the moon in October on BRICS, and that's exactly what you want. Anything else in my like videos? Let's see. Canada's going broke. China's going broke. Venezuela. Zimbabwe's doing well with their gold-backed currency. I found another like health doctor for us for food. Just an FYI there. She said that if you have cancer, like lemons are really good to stop it. And then there's never eat an egg with this. It causes cancer, which is if you eat an egg with bread, which we stay away from anyway, that'll be bad for you. I don't know how good she is, but we got our other doctor, so I kind of listen. But I eat lemons every day, so, and I'm in good health. What else? So comex should be breaking in gold. Silver will still be a nightmare, but a lot of the big players, the Indians and the Saudis, are buying silver from the mines, I guess. So as Mark McGuire would say, they're going outside the ring fence, which is the casino, which are the bullion banks. So the ring fence are the bullion banks. They do the derivative and they sell to each other, and that's why they never run out. That's why we're breaking them, because we're actually taking delivery, and they don't have the gold or the silver in comex, but nobody takes delivery in silver because it's not Basel III compliant. But it is Basel III gold that you have to, if they want to take delivery, you got to deliver the gold. That's where the 12 tons comes in. They owe the 12 tons out, and I didn't think they could play without having the physical. So they don't have it, and they keep getting burnt. So they're going to have to buy it back. So that's why Mark sees $3,000 gold very, very soon. Silver, it's a great buying opportunity. As long as it stays at $28, $30 an ounce, thank you very much. It's a no-brainer. It's a lock of life. You're going to make at least $700-800 on silver. I mean, it's 30 now. It'll be worth at least $750 on its way to 2,000. That'll take a while because we need the dollar to go out and comex to go out, and then the frenzy to go up. The frenzy as people realize the euro's gone, the yen's gone, the yuan's gone. All these, Swiss and Germany, all these countries realize their dollar's worthless. They all run to gold, and Germany's already doing it. So they run to gold, and then when they run to gold, there's not enough gold. That goes to Luke's brothers selling the football, the Ohio State, Oregon State thing. As they don't have, I only have so many tickets, and I can't print more. That sounds familiar. Then they bid it up. Well, as you want gold, they can't print more, so they're going to bid gold up because I want it. I got to have it because this is really more life or death. I got to eat. Wait a minute, this is worthless. So what do I buy? Oh, the only answer is gold and silver. Oh, I better buy. So I need to buy gold. Oh, how much is it? Well, I don't care how much it is. I need to buy a few ounces. We're smart. We're 5 steps ahead of the game. We've already bought our gold and silver, and we buy a little bit more, but we're pretty comfortable. But if we can buy more, we buy more, and that's what we're trying to do because we know that's where it's headed. So it'll be like the reason I bring up Titanic. So as you know, the boat's sinking, you don't react right away, right? So it hit the iceberg and you think, oh, the boat will be fine. And there's water coming in, but they don't tell you. Then you start seeing the boat sink in the water, and then you realize the boat's sinking. Oh, okay. I got to get off the boat. But you've wasted hours until the inevitable was it was going to sink, but you don't register it. Well, that's how we are. And then what happens is the frenzy. Everybody realizes the boat's sinking, gets on the lifeboat, and there's not enough lifeboats. So a lot of people aren't going to make it, but they realized it too late. Had they realized it right away, oh, I better get to a lifeboat. So that's me and you guys. The boat's got a hole in it. It's going to sink. Let's get on the lifeboat now. And now we're fine. And that's what we've done with gold. But we've already got our gold and silver way ahead of the game, knowing that the dollar's sinking. And then the frenzy of getting off the ship into the lifeboat happens at the end. And that's what we're going to do is the frenzy into gold and silver will happen. And we're way ahead of the game again. So we're just knowing it's going to be a frenzy. We're just waiting on it. And you've got how many Euro countries are going to go bankrupt, right? France, Italy, Germany, Spain, all these countries, and Great Britain, we know it's gone, and Canada are all getting fucked. And once they realize it, then they're going to all jump into gold. And there isn't enough gold. Back to the Ohio State game. There's not enough tickets. So now it's going to be bid up. That's free market. And that's what you have here. So that's brics. That's comex. That's gold. That's what we have. Gold will start tonight about 7 or 8. About 7 or 8 o'clock. It'll be there. That was Jenna. Anyway, so we know the frenzy is going to happen because that's the way people are. They're emotional. They'll realize they need gold and silver because they don't realize is that this is worthless. How can it be worthless? How can the Titanic sink? That's why I use that as it's a good example everybody can relate to. How can this sink? The government prints it. Well, you trust the government. It's your first problem. Why would you trust the government? Boog Powell, I showed, he doesn't even know what inflation is. He says, well, it's supply and demand. We try to keep it there. What the fuck are you talking about? It's you printing this dollar. You don't even know what inflation is. We're going to raise interest rates to slow the economy, and it'll lower the prices. How will it lower the prices? They need to set prices at where they make money. That's how the market works, not, well, if the interest rates go up, I got to lower my price. Big deal. You still raise. So if I want to buy a car, so let's listen to Boog Powell here. I'm gonna to lower inflation. I think it's prices. I don't even know what the fuck it is, and I'm chairman of the Fed. And so if I raise interest rates, it'll lower the prices. No, it won't. The prices, if you buy a car, it's the principal plus the interest. So the car goes up in price because you raised interest rates, not down. The price didn't go down. The loan now is $1,000 a month because now I got $300-400 in interest rates added on, which you didn't do anyway. The interest rates are because of inflation. You can't control the market with interest rates, but you think you can. That's how stupid you are. This is what we're dealing with, morons running our money, and that's why our money's fucked, and that's why the only thing you can do is get gold and silver. Because of that, Bitcoin is not the answer. Unfortunately, Bitcoin is priced in dollars. It's not accepted. It's not money. to me, it's the same thing as a baseball card, except for you can't hold it. That's the problem with Bitcoin, unfortunately. Why fuck around with Bitcoin? Just buy gold. Oh, it's going to be worth a lot. Well, gold. Okay, so this is $30 an ounce. That's going to 2,000. Aren't you going to make money in silver? Oh, it's priced, but you don't realize it's price fixed by JP Morgan and the derivatives. That's what you don't realize. Don't you think? Who's running the derivatives on Bitcoin now? Larry Fink, the biggest scammer. He makes Madoff look like a high school kid. Anything to do with Larry Fink, I'd run the other way. The guy's really in George Soros's pocket. So George Soros is really running everything, and that's the problem. He's a fucking Nazi. So you can trust George Soros, Larry Fink, or you can trust gold and silver, which nobody can fuck with. You make the call. But as the frenzy starts happening, where people in Europe start realizing this is worthless, they only have one option: gold and silver. I'll call it one option. That's the point. The dollars are going out because these idiots keep printing, because they're all MMT Keynesian guys who think I can keep printing to pay the debt, not understanding if I keep printing, the value of the dollar goes to zero. So I can have $1 billion, but they'll buy me a Coca-Cola, like in Zimbabwe or in Germany in 1923. What the guy had the wheelbarrow. So he's got $1 billion, but guess what? It buys a loaf of bread. I mean, it doesn't have a value. And that's what you're doing when you print the money. It doesn't have a value. You can't print gold or silver is the reason. It's the lesson that you're learning now, is you can't print it. Therefore, it won't lose its value. The dollar you're printing, JP Morgan prints and prints and prints, or the euro, it loses value. But you can't do it with gold and silver, which is why gold and silver has been around for 5,000 years, because you can't print it. I mean, this could be Julius Caesar's silver that I have here, because you melt it and you create something new with it. So because of that, it can't lose its value, because you can't print it to lose the value. And there's huge demand from every central bank. And then, as he said, India has got their little thing for gold and silver in September. And then BRICS going on the gold-backed currency makes a huge demand, because all the central banks need to have gold to back the currency. That's why. So you have very short supply with very high demand, and you have a price that's so low compared to where it should be. Egon saying if you just let it run, it would be $10,000. I believe more, because I believe the frenzy effect. The frenzy effect is when you realize the Titanic's sinking, what do? Everybody, frenzies, oh, I got to get on a lifeboat, right? Well, once you realize that these are worthless, once you know these don't have a value, what are you going to do? What can I get into? And your only answer is gold and silver. There's no other alternative. And it ain't Bitcoin. It's gold and silver. Bitcoin is priced in dollars, will go to zero. Gold cannot be. Silver will have its own value. So if I don't have a dollar, I still have a value for the silver, like the Romans. So let's go back to the Roman Empire. Their currency was gold coins and silver coins. It was the value. They didn't have dollars. They didn't have Roman dollars or lira. Gold's worth so much, silver's worth so much. And that's how it worked. And so that's how it was very successful. They had sound money. And it didn't need to be priced in dollars. And that's what's going to happen. But then we're going to get the frenzy as people finally wake up and go, oh, shit, I need gold and silver. My dollar's worthless, as I got to spend $5 for a bag of Fritos. I mean, what the fuck? So as I realized that, I need to get it. I need to buy gold and silver. And then the frenzy is going to go, because there's not a lot of gold and silver available. You got to realize China has 60,000 tons and Russia's got about 25,000. India's probably 10, and Saudi Arabia is probably 10. I mean, there's probably close to the full 250,000 tons gone. The shipwrecks in Spain and stuff, but basically it's gone. You can't get that. So available gold is very limited. when I went to the coin store, the only gold he has is when people come and sell it. These people are called idiots. Unless they need it for bills, why are you selling gold? Because if you're selling gold, you're getting back on the this is the Titanic. I need to get off the dollar into gold and silver before this goes to zero. Well, the last thing I want to do is sell my gold. So, you know, if I have gold and it's worth, I can get 2,400 for it. Why would I sell it to go back into this? This is the point of getting off the boat, was getting on the lifeboat. Why would I get off the lifeboat and go back on the Titanic? That's the point. And as the frenzy comes, these people are going to wish they held on to the gold and didn't sell it at 2,400. But they think it's the all-time high. It's 2,450. In derivative land, in you know, comex world, it is, but not in the real world, and not with what BRICS is doing, coming out with the gold-backed currency, as Mark said, in October, gold-backed currency and you know, in BRICS. Well, that's demand. That's going to raise the price a lot because they don't want $3,000 gold. They need 5,000 or 10,000 so they can print enough dollars for all the people in India and China and Russia, right? They're all going to have BRICS gold-backed currency. So they got to print a lot of them. So they need a higher price so they can do that. So the demand for gold is huge. With all the problems in China, they need it. And Russia, they still got to pay for the war. I don't know how they're paying for it. I think that's all the U.S. is trying to do is try to bankrupt Russia, but they're doing a bad job of it. Because, by the way, they got about 20,000 tons of gold. And they got a lot of it is not central bank gold. It's these shadow banks. It's in Putin's swimming pool or in his safe in his house or on his train. He's got a gold-backed train. It's hysterical. But he doesn't tell you how much he has. China never stopped buying gold. That's bullshit. That's Mark McGuire's thing. He says, what was his thing? Beijing hides their gold buying. So they're buying it with shadow banks. They didn't stop buying it. They bought more of it, and you don't know about it. So they keep buying, 500 tons here, 1,000 tons there. That's 32,000 ounces a ton. Huge demand by all the central banks. So how the fuck's the price going to go down? The price can only go one way, and as long as, they kind of don't mind COMEX keeping the price down because they can buy it cheaper. But they know it's going to end. And the U.S., the problem is they don't have any gold, so they don't want the price to go up because they're fucked if the price goes up. The people with the gold, like us, want the price at 10,000 an ounce. But if you're the U.S. and you don't have any gold, then you don't want the price to go up. You're getting buried because we don't have any. So all the gold, like I said, in your Fort Knox is China's. So we don't have any gold. We might be the stupidest country I've ever seen in my life. Zachary, what about Bitcoin? Okay, I've explained, but I'll explain it again. The problem with Bitcoin is it's not, there's 5 things for money that I like to talk about. I can find it. Okay. So to be money, Jesus Christ. To be money, it's got to be portable. Is Bitcoin portable? Well, it's electric. It's not, you're going to put it in your pocket. Is it scarce? Now, we have an argument here. I don't believe 21 million is scarce. 21 million is scarce versus 150 trillion US dollars. But like I say, my Mahomes card's 50 count, right? So I only, this is scarce, 50 count. So I don't know if it's scarce. Is it divisible for small exchanges? Bitcoin is. Is it fungible, the same, replaceable? Bitcoin is the same, yeah. Is it acceptance? No. This is the problem with Bitcoin. It's not money. Is it durable? Well, it's electric, but if the Russians shut off the internet, you can't get to it. So I don't know, but it's the acceptance one. But gold is all of those. So gold is money, as we know, legally in the Constitution, and everybody, all the central banks are buying it. But Bitcoin, how is Bitcoin priced in dollars? So when this goes to zero and it's at 1 cent now, what's Bitcoin going to be worth? Nothing, because you can't price it in dollars because the dollar is not worth anything. Aha, here's the problem. This is going out. Now, this I don't need in dollars. This is silver, will be worth whatever silver's worth, which is a lot, and it's very limited. And gold, the same thing. I don't need it priced in dollars, but I need, how can Bitcoin be priced in Bitcoin? We don't even know what it is. So it's priced in dollars. Can you price it in gold? I suppose you can, like a Rolex. So if a Rolex is $100,000, the dollar goes out, the Rolex goes to zero, but then somebody had gold's now 25,000 an ounce. I'll buy your Rolex for 4 ounces of gold, 25,000 each, and you'll take it because there won't be any money. What does Bitcoin do? Can Bitcoin do that? What is it? We don't know. It's not real. It's just, it's like a spreadsheet. It's just, it's just, you know, it isn't physical, right? At least I know I got the silver. It's in my hand. I have it. I can't touch Bitcoin. So therefore, I don't know. Can I go to the grocery store with it? This is your biggest problem with Bitcoin, is the acceptance. No, I can't go to I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go out to Capital Grill and use Bitcoin. I probably can with gold and silver. So it's not accepted. So it's not money. It's a collectible. So it'd be like me taking the Mahomes card to Capital Grill and saying, can I buy dinner with it? Now, if this was graded and it's 50 count and I can show them a value in eBay of $500, maybe I could if they want to accept it. But they won't accept Bitcoin because nobody knows what the value is. 71 minutes, 60, now 50. What's it worth? A Tesla, you can't buy the Tesla. You won't be able to buy a Toyota. You can't use it to buy anything. I can do it with gold and silver. It has a value, especially when the dollar's out. So it becomes really not money. It becomes a collectible, like a baseball card. So how does it go up? Well, gold, I know. So we talk free markets here, so supply and demand. So the more demand for gold, very little supply, the price goes up. Bitcoin, is it limited? I disagree that it is. Is there huge demand for it? I don't know, because it's all kept in silence. You don't know how many people are buying it or selling it, and therefore you don't know if the price is real. So it's hard to get involved in that, where I know gold's going to go up because as the dollar goes out, there's only one place to go, and it's buy gold and silver. That's the only place you can go when this goes to zero, because all these will go to zero. This goes to zero. This goes to zero. And as that's happening, people need money, end up going, I'll go into gold and silver. Now, if Bitcoin gets sold out and there's 21 million Bitcoins, how's anybody going to buy it? I mean, there's not any to buy. Okay. So I question Bitcoin on many levels. I don't think it's real. And why do I not want to buy gold and silver that is real, that I can hold, that they can't fuck with me, they can't print it, it can't lose its value, and can only go up in this time? So why do I not want to be in gold and silver? And I don't know what Bitcoin is. It just sounds like a Ponzi scheme. But let's say, is baseball cards a Ponzi scheme, right? So as long as there's a buyer and a seller in a free market, like on eBay, I can see what my Montana rookie card's $125,000, because that's what somebody paid for it, and I have it. So I know that's the value of it. But Bitcoin is not a free market. I don't know who controls Bitcoin. I guess Larry Fink does now, but what are you going to do with it? So you need to eat. What are you going to do with it? Oh, I'll sell it for what? The dollar's gone. right? This has no value. This is left. This is left the what is it? Elvis has left the building. This is left the building. So now what are you going to do with your Bitcoin? Well, you can't sell it because this is zero. So your Bitcoin's zero. How do I sell it? I can't go to the bank because this is gone. So I need gold and silver, which people will accept because they know it's money. Now, they'll come out with a US dollar too. Maybe it's hopefully backed by gold, or maybe we can buy the BRICS gold-backed currency. And then maybe Bitcoin gets priced in the BRICS gold-backed currency. Maybe. And then maybe it has a value. What's the value? It ain't going to be 50,000. 50,000 is in heavily inflated dollars. So in gold, Bitcoin's maybe $1,000 because that's how bad the dollar's been inflated. So you're not going to get 50,000 in gold. You might get 500 in gold, but it's gold. So that's really the difference, is how am I going to get rid of it and use it? And I can't go to the Capitol Grill or Kroger's and use it because they don't take it. Will they take gold and silver? Well, it depends. If the dollar's out and there is no more dollar, yes, they will. If you go to Venezuela, you see the shelves empty. But I guarantee you, if I walked in with this ounce of silver into the Venezuela grocery store, I'm walking away with a full basket of groceries. They'll take that. They know, everybody knows gold and silver is money. Let's see. Okay, thank you. Maybe it will be BT gold for parity. Well, that's what they'll need. But again, it's the acceptance that hurts Bitcoin. And then how do you figure it into gold? Why not just buy gold? I mean, that's then you don't have to worry about that. But it depends. I don't know I mean, the Mahomes card will go to gold. So this is, let's say, $1,000 because it's 50 count Mahomes. So then gold's what? Well, gold's already at 24, almost 2,500. So a half an ounce of gold will buy this. So you've got to change your price. So at the grocery store, it'll be silver. So the milk will be a quarter ounce of silver or a tenth of an ounce of silver. So everything will be quarter ounce silver, half ounce silver, or ounce of silver, or a tenth of an ounce of silver. So you'll start pricing Lucky Charms will be a tenth of an ounce, and you won't have all these $4.99s and $2.99s. It'll be tenth of an ounce of silver, quarter ounce. You walk in with your silver to Kroger's, and then you got change because they're going to give you quarters and tenths, and everything will be there. I mean, think, what did the Romans do? Right? They made it tenth of an ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce, or an ounce, or whatever. And that's how Rome became such a great empire, was they used gold and silver. And as soon as they stopped using the gold and silver and they debased their currency by taking the gold and silver out of the coins, they collapsed. Then the Ottomans got all the gold and they invaded, and the Russian army wasn't going to play because they weren't getting paid. People aren't going to go get themselves killed for nothing. So the army fled, and then here came the Ottomans, and the Roman Empire was gone. And then we had dark ages for a couple hundred years. So the reason the U.S. is good, we're on the gold standard. We were on the gold standard 1776 to 1913, and then after World War II, we went back on it. But look what happened with the Federal Reserve. FDR fucked the whole country. They took the gold. There was a depression from 1932 to 1945 that never should have been. The stock market crashed at 279 in October, but by February it was back to 250. So it had made all its money back. It was a bullshit Madoff where he sold a lot of his things because he needed money, and then everybody saw that and started panicking. Oh shit! And but then, a couple of months later, it was back to 250. You didn't need all the bullshit that FDR did. But who was his finance minister? Oh, yeah, Keynes. How the fuck do you let Keynes be your finance minister? And then government spending, high taxes. And the only reason we made it out was the war, because we sold the arms to both, to the Germans, to the Russians, to the British. We sold them rifles and tanks and planes and boats and all that shit. A lot of tanks to Russia, a lot of planes to Russia, and weapons, and the same to England. That's how we made it out. We made all this money on the war. It's sort of like Sherlock Holmes 2, where Moriarty starts selling, says, I just want to create a war so I can sell my weapons I can sell my weapons to the players who are fighting in the war, which is what happens now. You got all these defense contractors. I don't know if they're selling to Russia, but they're selling to NATO and they're selling to Ukraine and everything else. It's a fucking nightmare. But gold is the key because you can't print it and it's highly demanded. So the key is low supply, high demand equals high price. And because of the price fixing of COMEX, you don't have a high price on gold yet. But the BRICS will open the key, is the key to getting the high price we're all waiting for. Because in October, they come out, gold-backed currency. All the central banks are buying gold for this. You have 10 players in BRICS now. It's going to 40 in October, including, I believe, South Korea and Indonesia and some other big players. And, you already have Saudi Arabia and Russia and China in it. So it's for real. They're going to come out with a parliament and all this other shit. And we're sitting there like, oh, we need gold. Can't we just keep printing and printing like the idiots in charge? No, you can't keep printing, and raising interest rates to slow the economy does not affect inflation. It's how much dollars have you printed? And we printed 21 trillion in the US, 130 trillion for the stupid petrodollar, which is now gone. So I guess you can still use dollars to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, but most of it is China uses theirs. Russia doesn't need, because Russia's got their own oil. Other countries, India uses their, so nobody needs the dollar to buy the oil anymore. So put it that way. So some people go, oh, the petrodollar didn't go away. Well, yeah, the U.S. can still use it to buy the oil. However, the other countries aren't forced to use the U.S. dollar, so now any dollar can buy oil. However, what's happening is Saudi is now going to sell oil for gold, not dollars. So if you have bullshit Indian dollars or bullshit yuan or bullshit Venezuelan dollars, or Venezuela's got a lot of, they're not going to take it. I want gold for the oil. So that's what's coming out probably in October also. So the demand for gold is huge, and that means the price goes up. And you can see we're 2,400, soon will be 3,000, on its way much, much higher. So keep that in mind. That's the good news. So do you see that in Bitcoin, right? Do you see this huge demand in Bitcoin? Well, the first problem is you're kind of fucked with Bitcoin because it can't price itself like gold can. And you only have 21 million. I got 250,000 tons of gold at 32,000 ounces a ton. Now, most of that's gone, but I can go to the store and buy gold or silver. I went to the coin store to buy this. And I give them worthless dollars. I give them 30 of worthless dollars that are worth zero for something that's worth $1,000 that I only have to pay $30. That's a real money that has a real value. And that's the difference. So that's what you're looking at. So that's why it's such a no-brainer. And all the central banks are buying gold. Why aren't they buying Bitcoin? Just look and use logic. Okay. I don't want to argue Bitcoin and not Bitcoin and anything. Even the Mahomes card or the Montana rookie or the Mantle cards, they have huge value. I mean, so basically the Mantle card is $72,000 here. Let's go into that. So all you Bitcoiners, You think you've stumbled on to the Holy Grail, but you haven't. You're getting Ponzi schemed. You're getting made off. So why do I say that? All right, I got a Mickey Mantle card, 1968, PSA 9, not even a 10, $72,000. How much is your Bitcoin? Is it 72,000? It's the same thing. I can't go to the Capitol Grill and use this either, but I guarantee you this does not go down from 72,000. This can only go up or maintain. And it's priced in dollars, it'll get priced in gold. So somebody with gold will buy it for whatever. 72,000 is maybe an ounce of gold, 2 ounces. I'll take the Mantle card and the guy will sell it to you. So you think Bitcoin's it's the it, but here I got a Mantle card, 72,000. Here I got a Mahomes card for 500,000. Is your Bitcoin that much? And we'll go here. Here I got a Rolex watch for 820,000. Is Bitcoin that much? I got a Brady rookie card that keeps going all over the place. Is 4.5 million. Is your Bitcoin that much? I don't think so. Here's another Rolex, 527,000. Pre-owned, it's used, 527,000 for a Rolex. Is your Bitcoin that much? No, it can't be, because these are free market prices. Let's see. All right, we all heard of Michael Jordan. Here's his rookie card, graded PSA 10, $500,000. Or you want to buy Bitcoin? Oh, you think Bitcoin will ever get to 500? Do you think the Jordan card will not go up from this? Do you think it'll go down from 500,000? Here's a Nolan Ryan rookie card, 118,000. I'm giving you cards all over the place that are worth a lot more that are very limited. Here's a Mickey Mantle 1965 tops, PSA 9, 60,000. Okay, but in 1965, it's extremely difficult to get a PSA 9, and the centering, it's graded 60,000, only going up, not going down. This is the point. We know what drives this. This is free market. This is me selling on eBay and a buyer buying on eBay. That's the free market. Do you have that in Bitcoin? I don't know how Bitcoin's priced. So between Rolex and Mantle and Jordan, here's a Peyton Manning autographed card, 257,000, and another Rolex. This one's just 22,000. So there's all different types of Rolexes. So this is the point. Those get free marketed, and I don't think Bitcoin is. But guess what? If I want, I get the card or I get the Rolex in my hand, and I have it, and you can't take it away from me. And the 22,000 for the Rolex, or the 800,000 or 500,000, then it's a whole new ball game. So let's see. So let's say I buy this Rolex for 527. Do I think it's going to go down? No. It'll get priced in gold, absolutely, because it's a real asset. Just like your house will get priced in gold. And that's the key to it. Am I worried that this is going down to 450? No. Am I worried about Bitcoin going down? Absolutely. Why? Because there's no free market pricing it. It's being held by Larry Fink and probably George Soros and all these other guys who are trying to get you out of the dollar. But look at, here's the gold prices, right? 2,500 for the Maple Leaf. This is going up, but this is not free market. See, so why is a Rolex 527 and gold 2,500? Because gold's being manipulated by the JP Morgan is controlling the price, but JP Morgan doesn't control that price. The free market does. So when this goes free market, this will be, 50, 75, 100,000 easy. And that's the thing. I did get plenty for under 1K, and I can buy them if I choose to, but not everyone was fortunate to get in early, though. Definitely it was great to buy those at good prices. Well, yeah, I guess in 1965, I could have got this mantle at, I hate that argument because everybody bought it at $1. So, yeah, in 1968, I could have got this mantle for $1. I probably could have got it for, you'd go to a vending machine with a nickel and you'd pull 5 cards out. So I could have got a mantle for for 5 cents. I don't like that argument. So, okay, Zachary, at what point are you going to sell it? Do I got to go into gambling with you now? At what point do you sell it at? Do you have a point in mind? Are you going to hold it till it goes to zero because you didn't take profit? Because that's what you're going to do when the dollar crashes, the Bitcoin goes to zero. And then you're going to go, shit, I could have got whatever it's at, 50,000, and I didn't get anything. So you're not making any money. You're out the dollar, but you haven't sold it. So you didn't win. So let's go to the casino, and you're at the craps table, and you've taken $1,000 out, and you're going to play craps, and you get hot, you hit 10 points in a row, and now you went from $1,000, you got $2,000. You're going to keep playing craps, or you're going to take your money and go, wow, I just made $1,000 at craps. The professional will take the grand and say, thank you, and go home, play a little bit more, maybe 100 or two, lock up 800. And I'm a professional, and that's what I do in blackjack, craps, poker. I get up, I take my profit, because you can just as easily lose with it. But that's how a professional gambler does it. That's how I play, and I bet football. I make sure I quit a winner. I win, and I add to my bankroll. And so I got to know, okay, if I go play craps and I have 1,000 and I get hot and I make it 2,000, I take my profit. I can't just, if I keep playing craps, I'm going to lose it all, right? Eventually the 7 out hits and I go to zero, right? Or if I'm playing blackjack and I get hot and I hit some blackjack, I start at $1,000 and now I'm at 1,500 or 2,000. I quit a winner. I take the profit because I can't keep playing. I will lose. It will go to zero. The odds are against me. So I got to take my profit. That's how you gamble. Betting football. I hit some games. I gotta take my profit. It adds to my bankroll, and I then look for next week's games. And I keep taking some and going. If you're playing Bitcoin and you're not taking your profit, it will go to zero on you. Gold's a little different because it's actual money, but Bitcoin, because it's priced in dollars, that's a problem. Is it like a house where my house is going to go to zero because it's priced in dollars, but then it'll get priced in gold? Will the Bitcoin do that? Well, for sure, we know gold is gold. We don't have to worry about it. With a mantle card, it will get priced in gold because they'll be. In other words, are you willing to trade your gold for the mantle card? And I would give a quarter ounce for this mantle card. When gold hits 20,000 an ounce, yeah, I'd give the guy a quarter ounce, because 72,000 is in this, not in gold, right? So, it might be a quarter ounce for the mantle card. So then it's a free trade thing. Do I want to trade my gold for a mantle card? And it depends how much gold you have and how much you have to give up, and you probably would. I sold half so far and bought a house and other assets. I agree. Have proper risk management. Get to the point where you play with only house money. Well, there's a point where your free trade then comes into play. What else can I buy with it? Why are you holding it? What is your plan on when do I sell? At what point is it's not going up anymore? It's going down. And Larry Fink is going to kill you, and George Soros. They're gonna eat you up with the derivatives. So the game's changed. The variables changed. Mahomes is hurt. You don't keep betting Kansas City. if Mahomes is hurt. When he's playing, you bet Kansas City. When he gets hurt, you can't keep playing him. You can't ignore it. So Larry Fink's in there. That I would run away from it for that reason. But at what point? See, here's where you get a good economics lesson. What can I buy with my money? Is it a better investment in Bitcoin, or is my money better served buying a house, buying gold, buying a Rolex, buying a Mantle card? What do I get a better return on? Right. So am I going to get a better return on the Bitcoin, which has already jumped and now coming down? And if you think it's going to $1 million, I got oceanfront property in Detroit to sell you, because that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, you still are worried about the dollar going to zero, which it's about to do, because you can't print the fucking thing to zero. And I've shown you many cases, the French, the English, the Spanish, Rome, and Germany, 1920, Venezuela now, Zimbabwe now, Greece, Sri Lanka, all these countries where they printed it to death, and it's caused this hyperinflation, and it's basically the money's worthless. You need a wheelbarrow. So that's your problem with your Bitcoin. It's, where do you see it going? And you have no idea, unfortunately. Gold, I see going to 20,000 because the demand and what BRICS is about to doing, and all the central banks are buying it, and COMEX is blowing up, where they won't be able to hold the price down. If COMEX blows up and the free market gets a hold of gold, 25,000 easy. Will that happen? Well, that's what we're going to find out with BRICS in October. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. So what's your sight on Bitcoin? And wouldn't you rather be in gold that nobody can fuck with and they can't print it and it's highly demanded? Wouldn't you think you'd have more of an upside in gold and silver than you do in Bitcoin now? And that's your $64 million question. Am I going to get the same return on investment in Bitcoin as I would in gold, knowing what you know now from gold, which I just taught you? Or maybe I go buy a nice Rolex for 60,000, knowing that's going to go way up. So that's really, like, if I'm out of stocks because I know they're going to crash. So if you're in Microsoft or Apple or Amazon, you're far better off selling and buying gold than watching your stocks go to zero. And the problem is people don't understand it, so they don't. How can the dollar go out? Because these idiots are printing 150 trillion of them. That's how it can go out, and no more petrodollar. So the demand for dollars went. China's just sold 3 trillion treasuries to buy gold, which means $3 trillion came back. You can't hide it and you can't play with it. I mean, the Romans went out. If the Romans go out, anybody can go out. The French, what did the English do? 1795, there's an English, I guess there's a war between the French and the English. And what did the English do? They printed a ton of French francs, dumped it in Paris, and the French franc went to zero. And the Nazis, I showed a video on it. Hitler's plan was to counterfeit a bunch of British pounds and dump in London and watch it go to zero. But then he had the idea, well, these are so good, these counterfeits, that, you know what, I'm just going to use them. So he printed all these British pounds and didn't destroy the pound, because he then could use the fake British pounds to buy artilleries and food and everything else that they needed, because Germany was broke the start of World War II. So you have many options here, but you don't realize it. You're into Bitcoin. You did sell your house. The only problem is the house is going to go, it's going to go down. But it'll get repriced in gold, but the value is going to be much lower. You're buying in a bubble, right? You don't want to buy stocks. You don't want to buy houses now. You want to get the fuck out of the bank before the bank collapses. And the bank, you got 500 grand in the bank. Guess what? Your money's worthless. B, you try to get the money out, they're going to limit you to $5,000. I got 500,000 in here. So the money in the bank's worthless, and they're not going to let you get it. So you can only get it, and it's going to zero. So you don't want to hold $500,000 in dollars. I have zero of this. I have zero in the bank. I just have what I get to pay rent and stuff. All my money's in gold and silver and my baseball cards. I have nothing in stocks. I have nothing in bonds. I have nothing in the bank because it's all collapsing. Because the more you print, the less it's worth. And you're printing the fucking dollar to death. It's not worth anything. And I give you 5 examples in Zimbabwe and a wheelbarrow in Berlin. I mean, that's so you can see that's what happened, and you can see that's what's happening. Well, you're not the petrodollar anymore. You still use it to buy oil, but China can buy oil, and Russia can buy oil, and India can buy oil from Saudi Arabia, where before you had to use the dollar. So the petrodollar is gone. So all these dollars are coming back, which is heavy, heavy inflation. You got an idiot Powell who doesn't even understand what inflation is. Well, I'm going to raise interest rates to slow the economy, to lower the prices. Dude, that's not inflation. Inflation is you printing it, or JP Morgan printing it better than that. So you have to understand what's going on, and then you have to weigh your options. And are you able to weigh your options? Are you saying, well, I got 50,000 in Bitcoin or whatever you got in it. Now's the time to cash out and get out of the casino because it's priced in dollars, which are going away, as of the euro and the British pound and the Swiss franc. All that bullshit. That's why BRICS is coming out with a gold-backed currency. So my advice is sell the Bitcoin for the BRICS gold-backed currency. You'll do great. If you can get gold-backed currency. I don't know, but I would definitely, that's coming in October. So you did well in Bitcoin. Very good. But now's your time to, if I got 50 grand, is it going to 100? Probably not. And if it does, the money's going to zero. So what's it really going to be worth? Is it going to be priced in gold? Just buy fucking gold then. Gold, the demand's for gold, but central banks do not buy Bitcoin. They're the ones buying all the gold, by the way, right? So if they're buying all the gold, why do I want Bitcoin? Is the demand for Bitcoin there? Well, the government's going to start fucking the Bitcoin and saying, no, you can't use it. You can't buy things with it. And so you're at the mercy of the dollar, which is going to zero. So hold your Bitcoin. Okay, now I want to sell it. Well, yeah, but the dollar's gone, or the banks won't take it, or who knows. Don't be blind to think it's just going to keep going up because Michael Saylor says it. Who the fuck's Michael Saylor? He's not the professor. I'm the professor. So understand supply and demand, and it's really free market is what you need to, is what you're learning. So if there's very limited supply and very high demand, you get high prices. You get Rolex, you get Mantle, and you get gold. Gold's been price fixed by JP Morgan since 1973 or 4, but that's breaking and blowing up. The variables are changing. There's a gold-backed currency by BRICS that the U.S. normally likes to kill the people trying a gold-backed currency like Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, but they ain't killing Putin and they ain't killing Xi. So without killing them, that means there will be a gold-backed currency in October. And people are tired of America fucking everybody over and doing regime changes and all this shit. So that's what's happening. The military complex wanting to create a war like in Sherlock Holmes 2, where we can sell weapons to both sides. That's the U.S. now. We're so fucked up. That's how we want to make our living. Nobody's producing anything. Nobody's manufacturing everything. You can't sell cars because the price is too high because of the inflation, which means you're ruining the dollar. Without the dollar, you don't have a country anyway. So your only way out is gold and silver. You're on the Titanic. Your only way, you got to get to a lifeboat. And you can't wait till the boat's 3/4 in the water to realize the boat's sinking. Oh, I better get on the lifeboat. Oh, geez, there is no more lifeboats. That's what you got in gold. There's very little gold left. And the gold you're going to buy is going to be so expensive. You'll buy 1 ounce. I had $10,000. I bought 8 ounces. Now 10,000 buys 4. Pretty soon it'll buy 2. Eventually it'll buy 1. And so keep that in mind. So wouldn't you rather own the gold now, watching it go up like you did in Bitcoin, or would you want to own your weight, and then buy 1 ounce of gold at 10 grand versus 4 ounces of gold at 2,500. It's a very simple thing. Or silver. Silver's still controlled, so it's not moving yet. It will move, but right now $30 an ounce is a joke, but it won't move because of comex. Keep that in mind. It's mostly for diversification purposes and have different hedges. And I think having a precious metal is important in your portfolio. Well, I disagree with the diversification. What are you diversifying in? You can't be in stocks and you can't be in houses or real estate. That takes away a lot of your assets. My diversification is Maple Leaf Gold, U.S. Gold, Cougaran, and Philharmonics. Same thing with silver. So I diversify gold and silver. My diversification also is my Mahomes card, my Mantle card, my Montana rookie, my Earl Campbell rookie. That's my diversification because the market's going to crash because all the foreigners have their money in the U.S. stock market, right? China and Germany and Japan have trillions of dollars in our stock market. It's not just U.S. people. And as they realize the dollar's going out and the gold's about to explode, what they're doing is selling their stocks, and nobody's buying except for what the government prints to buy the big 4 or 5 stocks. And as they sell, the market collapses because there's all this huge selling and nobody's buying. So I'd be careful on the diversification aspect. If it's got anything to do with stocks and bonds, you're going to get wiped out. The house is going to go down because the demand, because they're going to sell their houses, and there's no demand because you got too high of inflation and too high of interest rates. Right now, your critical thinking must be, I have to get out of this before it goes to zero. It's lost 98.5%. In my mind, it's lost 100%. Go to the grocery store, buy a Coke for $3 that used to cost you a dime, and realize that this is being depreciated to zero. So your first goal is to get out of this. But you're not doing that. You're diversifying, which I assume is different hedges. You don't need hedges. Just get in the gold and silver. So you sound like a financial advisor. I go to the bank, the guy's trying to sell me annuities. I go, fuck off. I don't want to be in dollars. I want to be in gold and silver because I can't lose because they can't print it. The dollar's being printed and it's going out. There is no option. And I give you the Romans and the French and the English and Germany and Zimbabwe and everything else, Venezuela, because you keep printing it to pay your debt. You got a $36 trillion debt. How are you going to pay that off? Oh, we just won't pay it off. Oh, really? And the countries you owe it to are going to be pretty pissed off, right? Your credit will be zero. And now what do you do? So that's not an option. You can't pay it off. So the dollar's fucked, right? So if you don't understand that, ask me. But if you keep printing it, it goes to zero. It's not it. It doesn't like stay or this is the value of it. It is zero because look at the Romans, right? Take the Romans. They took the gold and silver out of their coins. They went to zero. They ended up going down. It's the fucking Roman Empire. If we were living in Rome right now, you'd be like, oh, we can't go down. And I go, there's no more gold or silver in our coins. We're fucked. And everybody, oh, no, we're the Roman Empire, though. We're fine. Okay. Let's see. It's mostly for diversification purposes and have different hedges. And I wish having precious metals, and I think having precious metals is important in your portfolio, especially when carryover risk being exposed. You like talking about risk. Carryover risk, what's that? Your risk is anything you have in dollars. This is your nightmare, is this. This is losing value every day, going to zero. So anything you have in this is going to zero. So I don't know, you can call it risk, whatever you want to call it. But I have no risk here because you can't print this. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, this will also go to zero, but get repriced in gold and silver, probably silver. So having this is fine. Having Bitcoin isn't, because it will go to zero in dollars, and you don't know if it'll get picked up in gold. Why would I want to spend gold on Bitcoin? I don't mind spending a little on my home or the Mantle card. Yeah, I can give a quarter ounce and get the Mantle card. That would be nice. Why would I ever want Bitcoin? It's done for, because once it goes to zero, it's like the stock market. When the stock market crashes and it's $5,000, my friend Luke keeps going, well, I'll buy gold and silver mining stocks. Nobody's going to want to buy stocks. In 1929, it went from 275 to 25. Nobody wanted to buy them. Then finally, the rich guys said, "Oh, I can buy Ford at $2 a share," and they got it back to 275. But that's the thing. So watch Warren Buffett go to zero. So he just sold what, $25 billion worth of stock. What's he doing with the money? You think he's smart enough to put it into gold and silver? No, he's a moron. So he's got it in dollars. Well, you know how much 27 billion monopoly dollars are worth? Yeah, zero. So he thinks I'll buy things cheaply when everything crashes. So he's set up for the crash, but his misthinking is it'll be the dollar that crashes. It'll be worthless. He's going to lose $27 billion plus whatever else he has. And I couldn't be happier, because that guy's an asshole. He's just a scammer who sold insurance and, great investor. Well, what did he do? He bought 1 million shares of Disney. Oh, he's a great investor. Fuck. That ain't a great investor. Carryover trade when yen being used by treasuries at massive leverage like 10 to 1. Well, the yen's going to zero too. Carryover trade when yen being used by treasury. Well, the treasuries are worthless and the yen's worthless. The yen, they came out with a $10,000 yen, a $5,000 yen, and a $1,000 yen. That means it's done. When you start seeing $10,000 bills, or look at Zimbabwe, they had $1 billion bill. And what did it buy? A pack of gum. Japan's inflation is terrible. They're on their way out. All that's going to be worthless. So is China. The yuan's going to be worthless. This is my point. All the currencies are worthless because they're printing them to nothing. So you saw it happen in Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Argentina. Now you're seeing it happen in Japan. Then it's going to be China. The difference is China has the ace up their sleeve, 60,000 tons of gold. All the other countries have their central banks buying gold as fast as they can. However, the US, Canada, and Great Britain do not have any gold, and they're all fucked. Canada's collapsing, going bankrupt. I showed that a little bit of that video earlier. And then you've got, what do you have? You've got George Soros in charge of the money, printing it to death to ruin all these countries to get revenge for the Nazis, because he's a Nazi. So he wants revenge. He's got all this money and he's just sitting there laughing. He puts all these bad judges in who are anti-American, and he's really a bad person. So he's running a lot of these elections in countries. I doubt our election will be a free election. Maybe Trump. If Trump wins, it'll be a miracle, because I think he'll do everything he can to fix the election that Kamala Harris wins, and that'll be the end of the U.S. My advice is move to Russia as soon as that happens. There may be Saudi Arabia, but I don't know what's there. India, no chance. South Africa, no chance. I don't know. UAE, Dubai maybe, but it's so expensive there. Well, you need to go to the BRICS countries that have gold-backed currency to survive. That's plain and simple. So the yen, you're playing games that are dangerous that you don't understand, because the inflation's all currencies. Anything in paper, these are all 98.5%, 99% gone. You can't buy a Starbucks coffee with this. You can't buy a pack of gum with this. You can't buy a Jawbreaker. I mean, it's worthless. It's worth a cent. $100 bill is worth $1. Go grocery shopping. Back in the 70s, $100, you'd have 2 full carts. Steak would be $2 a pound. So it's not prices going up. It's the value of the dollar being destroyed, and it's worthless. And so you're playing in these markets. You're calling it risk, trade, yen being used to buy treasuries, and you're calling a lot of stuff carryover risk. I've never heard that term before. Basically, it's all fucked. It's all dollars with no value. But the wizard's not pulling the curtain back, so you are led to not understand that. And I'm here to pull the curtain back and say, we're all fucked unless we own gold and silver, because they can't print it, basically. So you go from a deeply depressed depreciation of this going to zero versus this being so undervalued. And we're going to watch this go to at least 1,000 an ounce. So I can buy something for 30 that's worth 1,000, or I can buy something for, that's $1 that's worth a penny. I mean, it's pretty, call it what you want with your risk and everything, but it's all bullshit. So your biggest question is your Bitcoin. What's my return on investment? So I'll talk finance with you. What's your return on investment? How much are you going to make? What you have in Bitcoin now to what your future is with Bitcoin versus getting into gold and silver, getting into Rolexes, getting into Mantle cards. Where do you see the best return on your investment? I'm telling you, it's gold and silver, because it's been price fixed. If it wasn't price fixed, gold would be 20,000 an ounce. Silver would be 2,000 an ounce right now. If it wasn't price fixed, you can buy a $20,000 ounce of gold for $2,500. You can buy a 2,000 ounce of silver for $30. You do the math. And okay, well, is COMEX going to blow up? Because if COMEX is there, they'll keep the price down. And that's where BRICS comes in, because Russia, China want a much higher gold price than 2,400. They're already thinking 3,000. I'm thinking 20,000 eventually. That's where it's headed, because once you have that panic of, oh my God, the Titanic's sinking, I got to get to a lifeboat, and everybody's panicking at the end, you're going to have the same thing in the dollar. Everybody's going to panic. Oh my God. Oh shit. The only thing I can buy is gold. Bitcoin's not going to do it for me. Or I'm going to buy Rolexes, but I can't eat with a Rolex. Well, I guess I could sell it. But everybody's going to run to gold and silver as the saviors of Rome, because they can't be printed and they're real money. So I can go to my rib place and buy a slab of ribs with an ounce of silver. I don't want to, because I want the ounce of silver is $30 now. I'm gonna wait till I see a couple of zeros after it. So I hold enough cash to pay my bills until it's worthless. And when I find that out, I run to the gold store with my. The big question is, what are they going to use for medium of exchange once the dollar goes out? Now, what a lot of countries do, they'll come out with US dollar number 2, and they'll try to sell you, this is replacing it because of Putin and the war. We had to print new dollars. And is it backed by gold? No. Then it's worthless also. If the currency is not backed by gold, means you can print as much as you want. The more you print, it turns to zero, so you're fucked either way. So the last thing you want to do is get fucked, excuse me, by inflated dollars that are worthless, because these idiots print it to zero, because they think, I can print as much as I want. Okay, how are you going to pay off the $36 trillion debt? You can't. The only way you could pay it off, if it was me in charge, would be I'd make gold. First, I'd buy the gold at this cheap price of $2,400. I'd buy as much as I can, and then I'd raise the price to 30,000 an ounce, and then I could pay off the debt. That's the only way you can do it, is you got to get something of value. And I don't think you can use Rolexes to pay off the debt, but that's the only way you can do it, is to jack it up. But guess what? Since JP Morgan runs the Fed and has the monopoly on printing the money, he doesn't want gold to go up because he wants people to still use dollars because he's got the fucking monopoly on printing it. And since he's got the monopoly on printing it, I don't want anything else because JP Morgan is all about monopolies, which are totally illegal. So he keeps printing and printing and printing. And that's why the stock market went back up. He printed and put the money in the market. Look, the stock market's good. It's back to 40,000. Yeah, the real value of the stock market is like 10,000. So again, that's your option is what's my best return on investment? I guarantee it's not Bitcoin because it's going to go to zero because it's valued in dollars. But gold and silver does not need it valued in anything. Oil will probably get valued in gold. Meat. Once we get on the gold standard, you'll go buy a steak for, a half ounce of silver. Because you got to keep in mind, this is worthless when they keep printing it, but everything's valued in this shit, right? This shit's not worth anything. So when you see a New York strip for $10, $15 in gold, it's it's not even a tenth of an ounce, it's $2.70. It'd be like 25 cents for the New York strip in a better currency. A gold-backed currency, it'd be a dime. And that would be better than the $10, $20. Gold in World War II is a big reason why JP Morgan got so rich. JP Morgan got rich because he monopolized everything and he came up with the central bank. He's rich because what was he? I don't know. I can't remember what he used, oil or trains or something. He got rich in the late 1800s, but he did monopolies, and that's now he has the monopoly on printing money. That's how he got rich. I'm going to go in the back. I'll print $1 million. That's how he got rich. I don't know about gold. Boats and sell weapons to Europe and got gold in return. Yeah, well, I don't know if he did or the U.S. I'm not sure who was. I know the U.S. got a lot of gold. That's where we got our 8,000 tons was we sold the weapons to England and Russia, and they paid us in gold. A lot in England. That's why England lost the reserve currency because they had to buy the weapons to fight Hitler. And that's what they did. And Hitler was no more than it was a mafia dictator who the whole point of the war was for him to steal gold. He went city to city to city in Europe and stole gold. That's the war in a nutshell. I'll go to Prague, take their gold. I'll go to Brussels, take their gold. I'll go to Paris, take their gold. I'll go here, take their gold. That's it. And that's what the military was, just mafia making sure he could go in. And what are you going to do about it? And he couldn't do Britain because of the island, and his planes couldn't compete with the English ones. And then we did sell boats and planes to England. And Russia, we sold them tanks and planes. So we got a lot of money there. And we let Russia defeat the Germans and the war, basically, with the whole Russian front. That was incredibly stupid from Hitler. All he had to do was go into Moscow and take it. And then he could have done whatever he wanted. He didn't need to go after three flanks at the same time. So he goes after the oil in Ukraine. What the fuck was Stalingrad? What is he wasting his time there? Murmansk is the North Sea, and then Moscow. So just take a group to Moscow and he was 30 miles away. Just go. They can't stop you. And then go in and get the oil, which you're trying to do in Africa anyway. And that was it. He probably should have got it in Venezuela, but I don't think they knew Venezuela had oil. That's it, because they don't have natural resources in Germany. So Germany's always been fucked. They're in the middle without oil or stuff like that. And that's all he had to do is just get Moscow and then take his time and go down to the oil and take his time. You had the manpower, but you got fucked because you're a delusional paper hanger and you thought, well, I can just walk through because look what we did in Paris. And I believe Paris was fixed. I thought I heard like a duke or somebody told Hitler where to go. So, oh, this is going to be unguarded, go through. And that's what they did. They went through the Marseilles and there was no resistance. And he walked all the way to Paris. And then the French gives up like a bunch of idiots. And that was Paris. And he was going to destroy Paris, but they stopped him before he did. But this was, he was, you know, you have all of Europe. What do you need Russia for? What are you going to do in Russia? It's a bunch of nothing. All right, you got a little oil there, but you've got oil in, go to Saudi Arabia. They had oil, right? So, okay, maybe just go capture the oil in there. You had all the grain and stuff in the Ukraine. You took Ukraine in 5 minutes. What are you doing, man? Wait, don't just take the take. You're not Caesar, you know. Why did Caesar keep going? You didn't need, you had enough. You never could get Germany, Caesar. Or the Romans, but that's the point. You eventually, they have a lot of cost. That's why you need the gold, because you can't print it. It always wins. It's never lost because they can't print the fucking things. So when you buy it, go to a store that you know. I go to my store. It's a jewelry store. And I know he tests it. If I bring it in, he's putting on his tester. Yep, it's real gold, and he sells it. So I have no problem. But I don't fuck around. I buy Eagles, Maple Leafs, Cougarans, and the Austrian Philharmonics. I don't fuck around with bullshit gold. I want gold. I'll pay, and I know it's real. That's fine. That's all I want. And but we're just using our brain. We're not getting caught into. I'm happy you made money in Bitcoin. However, it's time to get away from Bitcoin because it's gone. It shot its load. Now what are you waiting for? You can't do anything more with it. At best, you'll keep the value. It's gone from 70 down to 50 something. At best, you're going to keep its value, but you're not making any money, and it's in dollars, so you know you're not making shit. So now is the opportunity for gold and silver. You'll make a fortune. You'll make more money in gold and silver now than you ever did in Bitcoin. But you don't realize that, do you? Boats sell weapons to Europe. Yeah. The creatures of Jekyll Island explain it too. Well, Jekyll Island was strictly making the central bank, which is illegal and not in the Constitution said there will be no central bank. You don't want to give a monopoly to a bank to print the money. It was always 3 or 4 banks would print the money. And from I think it was 1879. That's my favorite. Anyway, I think it was from 1879 to 1914. We're on the gold standard. It was the most prosperous time for the world on the gold standard. The gold standard's perfect. But eventually, Jekyll Island and people like J.P. Morgan want a monopoly on printing the money. And we did so great with the gold that they don't really quite get that you're gonna fuck it up. So like Nixon in 1971, we're doing great with the gold, but he wants to pay for the war and these social programs, which is not what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to get a job, make money. The dollar is supposed to stay sound for you, and you buy a house and you live happily ever after. Not to get into all this other bullshit. But anyway, that's the problem. So yes, Jekyll Island was the bankers who are losing control created the central bank, which was a disaster. It led to World War I, it led to World War II in Korea, and this whole bullshit that we're in now, a war every year. It's because of the central bank, because they print money. You know how expensive wars are? You got to get tanks, and you got to get planes and boats and men and feed the men, get them bullets and guns. It's very expensive because there's no revenue from it. You're not getting revenue for the war. It's all expense. Every war, even the Civil War, it was very difficult. Lincoln had greenbacks, which went heavily inflated, went to zero. So eventually gold saves the day. Gold always saves the day because you can't print the fucking thing. It's always worth it. It's so undervalued, but they don't want The people with the monopoly printing the money don't want you to run into gold, so they keep gold down, so you'll buy the dollar. And then what that leads to Wall Street. They keep you in the paper. They keep you in buy stocks and bonds and buy real estate trust and buy annuities. It's all to keep you into this, which is they keep printing and printing and printing. Look at all the Wall Street bonuses. And then when they fuck up, like in 2008, what do? They bail themselves out. Don't miss this. The banks run the government, not the other way around. So when the banks fall, what do? They bail themselves out. Oh, I lost on that football game for $1,000. I'll write myself $1,000 and now I'm even. I mean, that's kind of what it is. So they control the money. So they control the government with the lobbyists, and therefore they print the money. They bail themselves out because they're the government. That's why none of them ever go to jail. Madoff, why didn't the SEC go to jail? Why didn't JP Morgan go to jail? They had the account with the $10 billion in it. They should have been asking, what's this for? And the SEC, all of it, all these people should have went to jail. And Madoff did it by himself. Madoff didn't do it by himself. The Russian mafia was behind that. That's why he took it, because they were going to kill his family, right? So it was just me. Bullshit. And his only mistake was he should have went to the Fed and said, all right, I'm running this Ponzi scheme. I'll cut you in, but I need you to keep printing money when I need it. That was his only mistake. Otherwise, the Ponzi scheme would still be going on. But I'll tell you, at least he paid out. People were getting 15%. They didn't care where it came from. I really don't understand what was the problem with the Ponzi scheme. If I'm getting Madoff money and I'm getting 50% every year, what do I give a fuck what he does with it? How he gets it? He's paying me. It's not like he wasn't paying people. So that's the point. I don't really get the problem with it until the end. And if he would have been in with the Fed, he'd have gotten the money and he would have kept going. He'd still be going now. But that's what you gotta be careful with is the banks want you in Wall Street and in the banks. They want you in dollars. That's the Ponzi scheme going on. They want you in this, and they keep printing it, and it's worthless. And they're going to say, oh, it's Putin's fault that the dollar collapsed because of the Russian-Ukraine war, and we help the Ukrainians, and we give them $600 billion, and we get it back. It's money laundering. Zelensky takes his cut, and it goes to the defense contractors. What a bunch of bullshit that is. Anyway, not enough dollars to fund the 15%. Well, I was surprised he didn't use gold. I don't know why he didn't buy gold. That would have protected him from the shit that happened. Plus, he would have made a fortune on the gold. I don't know about that. Not enough. Yeah, because they just keep printing it. The dollar loses value. So he would have still been able to do 15%. I was in my health club on the bike, and the guy next to me, and I says, "Are you ready for the collapse?" He says, "Oh, I got my money." I said, "Do you have your money in gold?" He says, "No, I got my money in my pension." So he's got whatever in a 401k or it's in stocks. And I said, "Well, what are you going to do when it collapses?" He says, "Well, I'm fine with it. Yeah, it won't happen." Oh, okay. He says, so at the end I left. He says, "Well, I'll see you in the soup line." And I said, No, I don't have any stocks. I'm in gold. I won't be in the line. You will be, because you're too stupid to listen to somebody like me and think you know more. And they just think the stocks will never go down and the dollar will never go down because they're fucking clueless. They don't understand it. They don't understand you can't print it to zero. And then they want to keep you in dollars. So they want you in stock market and in the banks. You'll never get your money out of the bank. They'll limit it. Oh, sorry, you can only have 5,000, like they're doing with the Chinese. People have all this money in the Chinese banks. They say, well, you can only have, it's like $150 a day that you can take out. I got $1 million in here. Well, yeah, sorry, you can't take it out because the government wants it and steals it. So that's China. China's broke. But they got 60,000 tons of gold, so they're not broke. And they want a much higher gold price. But Madoff could have kept the scam. I mean, they just print more money and give them 15%. It just isn't worth the 15% would be worth 3%. No, not the 15%. So that's what would happen. So you'd still get 15%, but it wouldn't buy you shit. It's like buying golf clubs, it used to cost me $200. Now it's probably $2,000. The golf clubs didn't go up in price. It's the dollar won't buy anything. And that's really the problem. No, they could have kept with the 50. They would have just printed more money. That's all. You got a $36 trillion debt. Who's doing the Ponzi scheme now? You think that's fair that the debt's $36 trillion and they can't pay it? And they keep it going. And I keep saying, well, it doesn't matter because the dollar's going out. So it really won't be worth the 36 trillion. How are you going to pay it? Are you going to pay it with monopoly money, or are you just going to default on it? And how are the Chinese and Japanese and Hong Kong and all these other countries going to feel that you're not paying them back? Yeah, I'm sure they'll be real happy with that. And then good luck trying to sell any more treasuries to get money so you can pay your bills. So basically the debt is paying the government employees and all the government purchases and all the military stuff and the interest and the military. That's what the debt is. You can't just default on it. Jesus Christ, unbelievable. So that's where we're at. They'll just keep printing and they'll keep doing the derivatives, but China and everybody keeps buying it. So we're going to see $3,000 gold very soon. Keep an eye on September and October. We're really going into gold season, I guess, whatever that is, and look for it to be worth a lot more. And just the key to understand is this is worthless. So you have $100,000 of this, you got about $1,000 in real money. It's what it'll buy. It's the purchasing power. And if you print like they're printing, it has no value. So that's my point. So when it's worthless, it's monopoly money. What do you got with monopoly money? Nothing. That's what you have. But they're stupid enough to let you keep using it. So I can still go buy steaks with monopoly money. I can go buy steaks and take a vacation and pay my car payment and pay my rent with monopoly money. Fine, I'll keep doing it. And all they have to do is switch the dollar to a gold-backed currency and nothing will happen. But they won't do it because they're too fucking stupid. Because all these Keynesians are running the US and Canada and England, and they're fucking it all up because it doesn't work. It's been proven it doesn't work. Austrian economics, supply and demand, Adam Smith, Say's law, supply makes demand, solid money, gold-backed currency. So you want to have a strong country, low taxes, low government spending, gold standard, free trade, and a constitution that's actually followed. And the laws are strong. So you need that. That's what you need in a country. You never get off the gold standard. You never get away from free trade, and you never start taxing. That's what central banks did. 1913, they started with the income tax. It was never there before. All of a sudden, the government needed money. No, it's supposed to be a limited government. No. And it's supposed to represent us, not get paid off by the lobbyists, and they don't give a fuck about us. Why is there a war in Ukraine? It's you know why? Because it's for the oil and the minerals in the Ukraine. Those five cities in the Ukraine is where all the oil is, right? Donetsk and Crimea and Odessa. That's where all the oil is. That's why they're just in these little cities. It's tons of oil and minerals. That's why there's a war. We want it, and Russia doesn't want to have it. Give it to us because it's theirs. That's why you have a war. At the bottom line, that's why there's a war. And that's why every war is there. It's always about gold, oil, some kind of money. That's why you would fight a war. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Just negotiate. Putin's a good guy. I'm sure if you gave him enough money or gave him enough gold, he would do it. But don't kid with Putin. He knows the value of gold and oil and mineral. He knows all that. Smart guy. I'd rather have him run our country. At least you'd have a strong leader. Here we got idiot Biden who finally dementia. He was the whole time with dementia. You're gonna have Kamala Harris. Why do we want a Nazi running this country? What are you kidding me? Oh my God. I'm not sure Trump's any better. The only way we're better is this. Is Trump going to put us on gold and silver? No. What's Trump's plan for the fucked up dollar that's worthless? What's he going to do? He's a billionaire that's about to come to be penniless. All these billionaires, Zuckerberg, Gates, they're all going to be worthless. They're all going to be penniless because it's in dollars, not in gold. They're not smart enough to buy gold. They're idiots. I mean, what can you say? Bobby Bo, Camilla is a joke. Oh, of course. Professor, did you get General Chow and or hit the coin store this weekend? I did get General Chow on Friday, and I had it Friday and Saturday. And yes, I did go to the store, I think on Wednesday. I got 5 of these in a tenth of an ounce. And I'm finding out with these jobs, I'm getting ghosted. What's ghosted? I'm being interviewed, but not taken seriously. They don't really want to hire me. They just want to interview me and say, we interviewed a white guy or we interviewed an older guy just to check the box. And then we're going to put our guy in. It's like the NFL. We got to interview a black coach. And well, we still want Bill Belichick. So the interview with the black coach is just bullshit. And that's what it's going on with me. They're just interviewing me, but they have no idea to hire me. I had 4 interviews and don't get hired with my background, a master's and working at GM, Ford, and Mercedes, and you're not fucking hiring me, then it's a joke. What are you wasting my time for? 4 interviews for what? Why do you need to have 4 interviews? So that's what's happening now is these multiple rounds of interviews are just bullshit. And they're just interviewing people just to check the box. Yep, I interviewed an Asian, I interviewed a Caucasian, I interviewed a black, I interviewed a green, just to say I did. And then if it doesn't work out, mine was a contract job at DTE and I didn't get it. It's a fucking contract job. So anyway, yeah, but I'm not working, so it's harder. I'm waiting at a trust. My mom dies and nobody knows. So the payouts should be in October and I don't know what it's going to be. Hopefully a lot of money. With their trust, but I don't know. I asked the attorney how much. She says, I don't know. Can you give me a ballpark? Is it 10,000? Is it 50,000? Is it $15? Like what is it? So I don't know. My thought is 35,000, but I have no idea. And then football's coming, so I'll have some money to go buy gold with that. And I can't get a job, so okay, fuck you all, and I'll just teach and go from there. I think the whole thing was fixed with all of a sudden saying Biden is not right, like it hasn't been obvious since his first. Oh, exactly. I agree. Nice, Professor. You stacking them up. Yeah, they like to go through the interview process knowing who they're going to hire. And most of the time, it's not even the best candidate. Professor is more important. Well, I got a master's and 25 years of experience. It shouldn't even be an interview. It should be welcome aboard. If you want somebody that knows what they're doing, that's highly productive. So I met with the DTE manager and she goes, she likes me. I interview with the 3 people, 2 controllers and an analyst. And they didn't think I was a good fit. You talked to me for all of a half hour and not like this where I'm answering resume questions and this, and if I ever had SQL, well, why would I? I'm in finance. I do SBase and Excel and SAP. I don't do SQL because that's an IT language. That's for doing queries in IT. Now I understand it. If you have a table with green, yellow, and red, the query is go to the table and give me all the green. Oh my God, that's so difficult. I do queries all the time in Excel where I grab the ledger and then I start looking at figuring it out. Professor, what are your thoughts on student loans? When you went to college, did you get any debt? If so, how did it affect your DTI when getting loans? Don't worry, we appreciate the professor here in class. Screw those bastards. Thank you, Bobby Ball. Student loans are a loan. First of all, the problem is the government making college so expensive. I don't think I would send my kids to college now if it's going to cost me $100,000. The return on investment would be zero. So in other words, I would owe $100,000, and it's going to take me 10 years if you can find a job with all the inflation going on to work to pay it off. So I'd be 10, 20 years to pay off the $100,000. When I went to college, did you get any debt? No, none at all. Mine was like $1,500 a semester for my master's. It was very cheap. Actually, my undergrad was very cheap. My master's was even cheaper because the employer paid for it. So the employer paid for everything. I think I paid for the registration. I think they paid for the books and the classes. So I had like a $200, and the company paid it. If so, how did it affect your DTI when getting loans? So I had no problem, and I got loans for a couple of cars, a house, a couple of houses, an apartment. My credit score has always been very good because I don't keep a lot of debt. The only debt I had was in undergrad. I'd meet my girlfriend, we'd get a hotel room. So that created my debt was the credit card. But no, basically it was fine. But we didn't have, this is in the 80s, we didn't have that, and my master's is in the 90s. So no, I didn't have this bullshit. I would advise heavily not to go to college. The teachers are all communist liberals. The classes are stupid. You're not learning anything. And I would just go on YouTube and learn economic. Well, you can only learn Austrian economics from me. But I would take my class, and I would take other, I showed you Adam Smith on his stuff, and I would just learn all that. And I don't know that I get a degree. I don't know if you need a degree. I don't know where you'd work. So no, I wouldn't go. It's not worth it if it cost me $100,000. My brother's kid did that. He got a degree in history for $100,000. Yeah, that was pretty smart. Wow, what a moron. Very nice, Professor. Yeah, because some of these kids are graduating but getting smashed with all the piled up debt. And it's even worse when they get a degree in history. Yeah, or a lot of the, sociology or social program. What the fuck is that? I remember I was working, and this girl was getting a master's in social stuff. And I just laughed at her. Why don't you get a real degree in like marketing or management or something? Why would you get a degree in that? She didn't like that comment. And I didn't really mean it to be mean. I was just saying, well, why won't you get a degree in math or science or something? Degrees have diminished in value these days. Not only that, but they're not teaching you anything. So what you're learning is crap, and nobody's hiring you anyway. They don't care. There's too many people with degrees. When I went, not that many people had masters. Now everybody and their mother has stupid masters and meaningless stuff. See, you had it right in baseball. How many 300 hitters like you were there? Not a lot. You could make money. But if there was 1,000 guys that could hit 300, you wouldn't make any money. I don't need you, Bobby. I can have Joe or Phil. But there's not a lot who can hit 300. So that was your advantage. It's always a limited supply creates high demand and high money and everything. So that's really the key to it is now the supply is not limited. The demand is very almost there's no demand and high supply. So nobody makes any money. Nobody gets hired. Communications degree. Yeah, well, like history and that. It's funny how all the HR degrees, what is that? And then the company hires a recruiter to find somebody. What is that? You don't have an HR department? You think you're saving money with the recruiter? Why don't you just go on fucking Indeed? I sent my resume to Indeed. Why don't you just take me off of Indeed? Why do you need a recruiter for? Zachary, I got into a trade, no college, no debt, and used the money to buy assets. Now I'm way more well off than most at my age and my college buddies can't get money to buy a house, stuck in rentals, stuck paying debt. Yeah, well, exactly. That's the point. You're not getting the, so is it worth going and getting a college degree? And that's my point to Bobby. You spend 100,000, let's say. Is it worth it? What's your return on investment? And basically, you're not making $1 million for the job. You're making maybe 40, 50,000, but you got taxes and your other bills, and you got to pay the debt off. So you don't make enough money to really scratch the debt, and you're going to pay it off for 20 years. It's the biggest mistake you can make. How did it get there? The government got involved, and they started subsidizing the college, and the colleges kept ramping up the tuition, and then they'd get a bigger part of the pie. That's why it's so high. The fucking government again gets involved, and but that's good. I mean, you got to try. I mean, people need electricians and painters and plumbers. You build. I assume they'll still build houses or whatever your trade is. So that was smart, right? And you saved your money. You probably got a very good value. You didn't pay a lot, and you're making a lot. So that was very smart. Thanks, Professor. Yeah, not everyone can be behind Barry Bonds and Rafael Palmeiro at cleanup. Well, that's the point, right? It's whatever it is, you're looking for something with very low supply and very high demand. It could be working at Microsoft as a programmer where very few people can do it, but they need the work done. I got into finance because of that. I'm valued at any company. It doesn't have to be auto, or it could be chocolate chips. You still need to know your costs. You still need to know your budget and your actuals. You still need to know, make sure the POs are going, make sure the money, make sure you're charging more than your cost. That's the biggest problem most companies have. They don't know their costs, so they start selling things below cost. So they're losing money every time they sell something because they're too stupid to hire somebody like me that goes, "Oh, wait, your cost is $20. You need to sell it for $30." And that's what most people don't get. Anyway, it's 3:00. I got to get to swim. It closes at 4:30, and 4 hours is going to exhaust me. Anyway, the baseball games: Houston over 10, the Yankees over 10, San Diego over 7.5, Baltimore over 8, Milwaukee under 8, Cleveland 2 units, Colorado over 10, 49ers, Pitt under 8, Philly over 8, the New York Mets under 7.5. Dallas is a 4-point favorite over the Rams. I don't know. Let's see if Stenson Benson plays. What do you got? Trey Lance going for Dallas? I don't know. I think the Rams in 10, but again, it's hard in preseason. We don't know who's playing. We're just waiting to load up on Mahomes in week 1. You're welcome, Zachary. Nice to meet you. Except for these NFL GMs who know nothing about cost benefits, as they overpay guys like Lamar and Kirk Cousins. Well, exactly. Well, I'll probably do class. I did it early on Friday because I wanted to get Chinese, and I was just kind of bored with not getting the job. I was a little bit disappointed. So I wanted to, go out. But normally it's about 2:30, 3 o'clock. I go to the pool first to get out and relax, get the hot tub, and then I come back and I have a little lunch, and then we're ready to go. So figured 2:30, 3 o'clock most of the week. Here's the latest thing from Daria. So I keep going, when are we meeting? When are we meeting? So her response is, we'll go on vacation when it's safe and convenient. And then, I really want to go on vacation with you. And at first I was excited she was talking about it. And then after reading it, I'm like, what kind of crap? What do you mean safe? What I can go to Russia tomorrow. I would feel safe. They're going to kill me. I'm just because I'm a U.S. citizen. And then convenient. What the fuck? So I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I'll just go meet Jenna in October, and she's in Berlin now, going back to Ukraine soon. So I was kind of like, okay, yeah, you're just fucking with me. You don't really want to meet. If y'all love me and wanted to meet me, we would be meeting tomorrow, right? I can fly to Russia. You don't have to do anything, and we can meet. So I don't know what it is with her. I keep thinking that maybe it's a boyfriend, but she says, "Oh no, I'm with you," and yeah, I believe that. So I don't know what's going on with her, but I'm like over her. It's like whatever. Look, let me know when you're ready to meet. I don't want to hear all this bullshit. I don't even think I texted her this morning. I'm so like whatever. I'm tired of the bullshit. So I'm gonna give her rent tomorrow because I told her, and then it would leave her short, and then I'll just say, yeah, you know what? My money's tight. When I get back to work, I'll help you with rent, which I'll never get back to work. Or when we meet, I'll just give you gold, and then whatever. Don't fucking play me like that. I mean, that's just such an obvious play. So I'm not happy about that. Anyway, that's all that's going on. I'll go be with Jenna. Jenna texts me every day. I know we've been together 5-6 vacations, so I know what I'm getting with her. Daria, I don't know. She's scared to meet me. Who the fuck wouldn't want to meet me? So I'm done waiting a week. Where are you? Where are you? And I don't care anymore. I'm ready to just block her, but I don't want to do that. But I'm just not. I'm not going to be interested in her. Anyway, off to the pool. Enjoy whatever with the Olympics, and that was it. I found myself rooting for the Amsterdam girl with the real long legs and the hurdles and all that. I like the way she won that other race, and that's how I was rooting for her. She can go back to the red light district now. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Soon we'll be doing class, so you'll have to $25. I'll get your email, and then I'll do a private NFL, private college. We'll go through the games and my picks and my locks. Or at Teaser King, you can purchase the picks. $75 a week for pro, $75 for college, $100 for both. There's a monthly and a yearly, and go from there. And yeah, we know what we're doing there. Nice day to you too. I love NFL also. Yeah, well, I'll do NFL. I did NFL earlier. We went through the exhibition games. Again, Mahomes played and Burrow played, which was very happy to see that. All right, everybody, have a nice day. I am off to the pool. Ciao.